Hey, y'all. Hold on. Thank you for being here. I think it's about to start. Let me pull it up. Hold on. Or I got to fix this microphone. They did an advertisement. Here we go. All right. This is our presser on Rebecca and Jake Haro in the Emmanuel Haro case. We're waiting on them to come in. Did y'all know that he freaking confessed to a jailhouse informant? Oh my God, y'all. It's insane. We've got to talk about it. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we're going to talk about it, Susan. We're going to talk about it. I wish I could pull it up right now, but I'm scared that we'll miss something in the presser. He confessed to a jailhouse informant. Thank y'all for being here. Little bit of Lisa, Sweet Bomb, Susan Bayer, West Side Crime Show, Southern Cat, Cindy from sunny South Florida, Carrie Meyer. I don't know. We'll find out. They might talk about it in the presser. Kind of want to show y'all. Tammy, good to see you. Rubber, good to see you. Blue Giraffes, Cara, Matthew, Laura, good to see you. Kelly, good to see you. D's nuts, good to see you. Yeah, thank y'all for being here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Now that I've got this up, I can close out all this other stuff. And hopefully it'll stop doing that little loading symbol. All right. While we're waiting, I'll try to pull it up because I can show you better than I could tell you. But I'll have to watch that closely. Let me get it pulled up. Okay, let me see. All right, why are we loading? I'm gonna have to kick my kids off the internet. Hold on. Hey, everybody coming in. I might not be able to show you yet. Let me try this. Oh my gosh, stop it.
The Body Deli, the must-see destination for organic raw beauty. Visit your nearest location today.
What the crap is going on? Let me close out of this because that could be what it is. Yeah, that's what it. No. I guess because everybody's here, the damn thing is having issues. I can't pull it up yet because, as y'all saw, my thing decided it was going to be freaking nuts. I'll show it to you in a few minutes. Hey, Heathen. Hey, Yolanda. Hey, Jada. Yeah, I think the servers are very much overwhelmed. Waiting on this. I'll try it again real quick, but I don't know if it'll work or not. Still working. Nope. Started loading. I'm just going to not pull up YouTube yet because I don't want to mess it up. No, this is it right here. They said 10 a.m. So, and the news crews are there. You think his confession is bullshit? Have you seen it, Cara? I also saw where Rebecca Haro allegedly faked a baby thing. I don't know. It's weird. We're going to talk about that today too. Curious Christine. Oh, Thank you for being a member for 6 months. Happy for 6 months. Thank you. All right. Yeah, we got the volume all the way up. What the crap is going on? Oh, my damn headphones went on. Really, headphones? Lord have mercy, Jesus.
At Roto-Rooter, we've tried everything to address plumbing emergencies faster, like the sink siren. Roto-Rooter! Then we realized same-day service, that's pretty darn fast. This is pretty darn loud. Roto-Rooter!
The advertisement. Why is there no audio here? What the motherfuck, y'all? I'm pissed right now. I'm fucking livid. And of course it's gonna be fucking stupid. Y'all, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be testing, but this is bullshit. Oh my god. Really? Yeah, let me pull up court CD. Everything just decided to fuck up at once. I'll fix it. Hold on. Let me find it.
Appropriate to have a press conference
Right.
because it was the defendants in this case that had a press conference first. And they did so in order to tell the public, the media, and ultimately law enforcement that their child had been kidnapped, when in fact that's not what occurred. And so we're here to clear up some
Better now.
misconceptions and to explain how this case unfolded in terms of the investigation. It involves two counties working very well together.
Well, I'm
I know
fucking
everybody
pissed.
up here on this stage, we
Hold
work
on,
well
we'll talk about
together
it in a minute.
normally. But in this case, I'm very proud of the work that was done by Riverside County Sheriff, San Bernardino County Sheriff, my office, and also the District Attorney's Office in San Bernardino County. All right, so we'll go ahead and kick this off. I'm going to bring up first San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes.
Thank you, Mike. To Mike's point, I want to thank all of you in the media for covering this, specifically the parents' initial statements to the public while we were trying to find Emmanuel. They became critical as we continued through this investigation. But I want to talk about a little bit about the process because we've
Hey,
seen a
everyone.
number of questions related to Amber Alerts and things like that. So I hope when I finish this that everybody understand kind of the course of the investigation. But the investigation started for us on August 14th when Rebecca Haro reported that her son had been kidnapped. Folks, within 24 hours through video surveillance, we found inconsistencies in Rebecca's statement. And as a result of that, there was no other vehicle to put out on an Amber Alert or anything. And I know many of you were wondering why that didn't occur. But really, after finding out those inconsistencies in the statement on the initial report, that's where hundreds of hours of investigations have come in by our specialized investigations division to try to get to the bottom of what's really going on here. And when I say hundreds of hours, I'm talking about forensic data on vehicles, phones, and potential crime scenes, judicial authorized search warrants that were served. And through that process, that's where we learned that the jurisdiction of where this has occurred was in Riverside
Edith,
County.
thank you
So
for being a
hence the
member for 8
Riverside
months.
County
That is
DA and
amazing. I
Riverside
really
County Sheriff's
appreciate the
Department,
support.
which I can't stress enough. We've had a long-term partnership. We work
Oh,
well
Curious,
together,
thank you for
and
the
we know
super
how to get
sticker.
things done in these
I
environments.
really
But that's why
appreciate
the
that.
jurisdiction had changed from the original jurisdiction that was reported in, which is Yucaipa, California. But as we went through that portion of the investigation and realized that these things that had happened in Riverside County, you saw the culmination of all the different entities get involved. And going back to what Mike mentioned about the DA's office in San Bernardino County and high-tech
I
crimes,
love y'all.
forensically, there are a number of things that we were able to prove up that we're not going to be able to share today exactly how we did that, but there is a tremendous amount of evidence that suggests that the initial story posed was not the correct story. So in
I
that
got more
partnership
on
with
that.
our agencies, I'm going to introduce my partner, Chad Bianco, where this crossover occurred at Riverside, and we reached out to Mike, who's obviously filing the case, and of course, Chad to assist us in the investigation. Chad?
Thank you. Like Sheriff Dicus, I just want to thank all of you for, especially the normal mainstream media, for your attention to this and for your cooperation in this as we were assisting San Bernardino in this investigation, trying to originally find a missing baby, but then eventually quickly learning that that investigation was not something that it started as. Not so much for social media and keyboard warriors who quite honestly sometimes hamper and prevent us from a good investigation. I do want to
Hey, Leslie.
expand a little bit about
Miss Scorpio, thank you for the
our
super
relationship with
sticker.
San Bernardino.
I
A lot
appreciate
from the
that so
media, a
much.
lot of questions have
Thank
been
you.
raised about jurisdiction. And what Sheriff Dicus and I routinely talk about to our own communities isn't really necessarily displayed in the media or said to the media, but neither one of us care about jurisdiction. Our belief is that the Inland Empire is better served when we are cooperating and working together. And in this investigation from the very beginning, it was obvious that it could involve both counties. When something like that happens, particularly in this case, the original investigation began with Sheriff Dicus, and if he chooses to take it to the end, he will,
Me
which
too,
obviously he
Allie.
did. And my position is Sheriff Dicus is responsible for this and the assistance of my department. So there is no asking us, there is no anything like that. It is, we have to serve our public best, and he has every single available resource that the Riverside County Sheriff's Office has to offer to make sure
And
that
there's
we
a lot.
provide justice in this case. This is an extensive investigation with both agencies that ultimately is headed by the supervisor of the Detective Bureau from the Sheriff's Office in San Bernardino. But the cooperation, as you can see, between the both counties is what is going to bring this to a successful conclusion. There is absolutely nothing, no crime more important than the injury of a human being, particularly a child. And the amount of resources that were expended to find this baby and
Not
to
really.
ultimately bring the people to justice responsible for the loss of this baby, I can't even tell you the amount of resources that were expended in this. It is a massive investigation that will obviously be ongoing, and we appreciate your efforts. This involves a lot of things, though, from us, and hopefully there are more questions to be answered, but I'll end it by saying this before we get into more questions specifically about this case. This was preventable in numerous ways. The amount of response we have had from the public, the enormous anger that a child was not only originally thought to be kidnapped, but then presumably murdered, kind of warms my heart a little bit, that there is compassion still out there. There is care about other people. There is, people actually do care about other people. There is absolutely nothing worse than harming a baby. Broken bones, injuries, life-altering trauma. And had that case been successfully handled how it should have been, Emmanuel would still be with us today. So I thank you all for taking the time and the effort to make sure that the world sees this investigation, and we will successfully bring it to conclusion with the help of both DA's offices.
About damn time.
Sheriff, I neglected to mention that Sergeant Nicholas Clark is the lead investigator on this case. So even though he's San Bernardino County,
I hope you feel
he will
better a
be
little bit.
functioning as the lead investigator on this case, which is ongoing. The investigation is ongoing, even though we have filed charges. And then Brandon Smith is going to be the lead prosecutor on the case, obviously Riverside County prosecutor. And with that,
That's true,
obviously, you all know, yesterday in court, we filed murder charges on both Jake and Rebecca Haro. We also filed filing of a false police report. And with that, I will take questions. I know you're going to have a lot of questions. I do want to lay some ground rules. The way we do it here is don't shout at me, no chaos, just raise your hand. I ask you to ask me one question at a time. I'll do my best to call on everybody. When we've gotten through everyone who has a question, then we can go back and ask more follow-ups, okay? So I'll start here on the front.
Hey,
Yes,
Kalisa.
ma'am.
Let me move this so we can see.
You know, yes, we have a pretty strong indication of where the remains of baby Emmanuel are. So that investigation is ongoing at this time.
They're in a landfill.
Sheriff, you want to take that?
I'm not going to go into grave detail about that, but there is some level of cooperation with the suspects involved in this, and we're trying to locate that, and our job is to follow every lead. But for the rest of the room here, we have to understand what you're dealing with is an experienced child abuser that is aware of a previous case, that is aware of evidentiary things that we are certainly concerned with. So we're going to take every step to not only work with any suspect or witness involved in this, because at the end of the day, we have to bring a case to Mike and they have to charge it. And we have to make sure that every single thing, no matter what is told to us or what we discover in terms of evidence, is the right thing and that we follow it up extensively.
Not yet, Holly. We got to go back to the start
I'll
in a
go
minute.
to you first and then to you. Go ahead. The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused, victim of child abuse, time, and that eventually, because of that abuse, succumbed to those injuries. That's what we believe. Sure.
I noticed on the arrest records that they do have Jake Haro as murder with malice and also another murder charge as well. Is there a second murderer?
We charged both Jake and Rebecca with murder. Who's next? Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
This is in reference to
I can't hear them asking questions.
Sure. Yes, I will. So in 2018,
great question.
Jake Haro with his ex-wife, there was another child who they were prosecuted for child abuse as well, child neglect, cruelty. That child was also an infant, and that came to the courts, arrested in 2018. It came in to the courts in 2023. We had charged various felony crimes, child abuse, child cruelty. And our indication or what we wanted out of the case was prison. We believed it was a prison case and that Jake Haro should have gone to prison. Jake Haro pled straight up to the court, which sometimes reporters get this wrong and you call it a plea bargain. Judges are not allowed to plea bargain. Defendants can plea bargain with the prosecutor, but when a defendant pleads up to the court, they plead to everything that they've been charged with, and they're essentially throwing themselves on the mercy of the court. In this case, a judge here in Riverside County, happened to have been a visiting judge from San Bernardino County, gave Mr. Haro a suspended sentence, which means, if I can translate for you what that is, it means that instead of sending him to prison, he chose to give him probation and suspend prison time sort of over his head, meaning that if he violated his probation, he would then go to prison. My prosecutor in the courtroom objected to that and said on the record, we object. We think it's a prison case. You should send him to prison. And the judge decided, as is the judge's right to do in that case, he decided that Mr. Haro deserved an extra break and gave him probation and basically 180 days of work release, which ends up being like community service. I will say that it was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. And I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not attacking the judge personally. That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today. And that's a shame and it's an outrage. And I hate to say that, but when our criminal justice system breaks down, I'm going to just call it like it is and tell you it broke down. It's not how it's supposed to work. The judge had obviously meant well. At the end of their sentence, he told Jake, I'm giving you a big break today. Don't mess it up. But I want to point something out to you. I want to read to you the injuries. The child's name is Carolina. She is still alive today, but she is permanently bedridden. She has permanent damage, cerebral palsy, that is a result of long-term child abuse. I want to read to you the injuries that were presented in court to this judge at the time of that previous prosecution. Acute fracture of the posterior left rib, fifth rib, healing fractures of the posterior lateral 6th, 7th, and 10th through 12th ribs, healing fractures of the 6th and 9th through 12th ribs, partial bone fracture of the skull, brain hemorrhage, significant prevertebral soft tissue swelling of the neck, and a healing tibia fracture of the right leg. This is severe abuse for an infant. And so whatever you think of the criminal justice system and people need a break, someone who does that to a child belongs in prison, period. Next question. Not to my knowledge, no. Yes.
I wish they'd recap the question so we could hear it. Hey, everybody coming in.
You know, I'm not going to, I can't speculate. What I'll say, I'll repeat what I already said. We believe that Emmanuel was severely abused over a period of time, and that that's the reason for the filing, the way it was, is that he was abused over a period of time. Both parents would have been aware of that abuse. I've already called on you, so I'm going to exhaust. Yes, sir. No, one question, sir. One question. I didn't say that, sir. I didn't say I know where the remains are.
They're allegedly in a landfill.
Um, well, you should get some rest, sir. You should get some rest.
What
But
the
I can't
hell?
share with you anything. Look, there are professionals that are
There's a
looking for the
confession.
remains of this child. If the public has any information, then we ask for their help. So we don't know exactly where the remains are. We have some ideas in
Yes.
terms of where we're going to look and where we're going to continue to investigate. Yes, sir, all the way in the back. No, I'm not going to do that. Unfortunately, I understand it's an obvious question, but I just can't go into it. Those are things that the evidence will be presented in court, and I'll have to wait till we do that. Who's next? Yes, sir.
Can you explain, I know they both have charges found against them, do you believe that Jake or Rebecca and both were actively involved in abusing Emmanuel, or like, was she just complicit in what he was doing, or the other way around? Can you explain any more of that?
All I can explain is what we have filed. We filed murder charges on both of them and making a false police report on both of them. So you can extrapolate that we believe that both of them are guilty, that we can prove it's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt for both the murder and the filing of the false police report. You know, how it breaks down as to who did what, that also has to wait for the trial. So let me go this way. Okay. Pues ya dije lo que puedo decir. Fue una tragedia increíble y no hubiera sucedido. El juez hizo un gran error y juzgó mal y el sistema se quebró ese día.
Yo,
Jueces, fiscales, defensores, todos tenemos un deber y tenemos que hacer nuestro deber en nuestro trabajo. Todo lo que puedo decir.
I need a translation.
Claro que no. Le dio libertad condicional y esto fue un caso de prisión. Cuando uno hace daño así a un niño, debería ir a prisión. Eso es lo que dice la ley. La ley dice que la sentencia debe ser prisión por crímenes de este nivel de gravedad. Y en este caso le dio probation. Okay. Let me go to you. I haven't called on you yet.
He said the previous judge messed up. He had conditional freedom and he violated those terms. The sentence should have been prison. Thank you.
No, unfortunately, I can't. That has to wait for the trial to come out. Yes, sir.
Given the history that Jake has been obviously charged with previous child abuse cases, has CPS been involved with Emmanuel throughout his life at all, or have they ever checked upon his parents?
To my knowledge, CPS has not been involved with Emmanuel. I don't believe there was any CPS involvement in this current case.
Thank you, everybody.
I've already called on you. So have I called on you already? No, go ahead, please. I can tell you that that's not true. It's there's no confession made in jail. I'll go back there and then I'll come back to you, Rob. Yes. Go ahead, sir.
I beg to differ.
Yeah. Well, there's the 2-year-old and then baby Emmanuel. Yeah. Going back there. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, A.M.
A no-body homicide is always difficult, but obviously with an infant, we know that baby Emmanuel didn't, leave on his own or is not, didn't leave town. Obviously, it's a little different when you're talking about an infant, but we have a lot of experience in this county, trying no body homicides, and we're confident that we can gain convictions in this case. Yes, ma'am. Well, I think Sheriff Dyke has already explained that. He answered that question by saying there's been a level of cooperation with the defendants. So that's why they went to that area. But beyond that, that's all I can say. Yes, ma'am. Well, see, that's not true. So I don't know where you, well, no. See, this is what happens when you've got
So
all
that's all
these
data?
folks out there
Asking?
online and these keyboard warriors. You get a lot of misinformation. And what you just said is not true. It's misinformation. So
Yes.
that's what I'll tell you did not happen. Okay.
Stop getting mad
I
at on the
can't talk
tita.
about the facts of the case. Well, no, I'm giving you information about baby Emmanuel. I'm giving you information about the cases and the investigation, but what you just said did not happen. So, you know, that's not, I can't be responsible for when you guys get it wrong. Go ahead.
I know you have not found remains yet, but based on the level of cooperation, is it a strong likelihood that the remains were
Yeah, I'm just not going to comment on that. We're looking for the remains. These investigation is continuing. We're hoping to find the remains of baby Emmanuel. Yeah, please, Sheriff.
This is to that and to the question before. A problem that we are having in this, basically even on the question that was asked 2 questions ago, is someone posts something on social media and then you all believe that it's true. I actually complimented the mainstream media because you've actually been reaching out to us for comment and actually been printing what we've told you. It hasn't been the sensationalism and the wants for clicks for social media. And that is doing nothing but harming this investigation. And when you form your opinion and come in here and ask questions like that, you're not serving the public in any way. The question way earlier, get some rest. There should be no one out there looking for baby Emmanuel except for us, because all you're going to do is complicate things in the future. And the one thing that I emphasize that I want to make it clear here, the reason this is happening relatively quickly and the reason why we got such a handle on this fast is I believe that the Inland Empire is served better by their 2 sheriff's offices than any place in the state. And this particular case doubled its efforts. So instead of having 4,500 people looking for baby Emmanuel, you had 9,000. And so how did we get all of this information? It's called investigation. And we have 2 entire departments doing nothing but sifting through evidence, searching for evidence, trying to figure out what happened, who was responsible, and how we're going to successfully prosecute it. And misinformation, lies, and purposeful misdirection is going to do nothing but harm this investigation. And I am begging all of you with cameras out here,
Exactly.
don't be a part of it.
Exactly. Kalisa. Exactly. News Nation.
You wasted
the
yours
DA.
in English. I'll get back to you. I'll get back
Former
to you.
DA.
No, I've already called on you. I'll go ahead. I started with you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's not a TikTok thing. It's a former DA talking about the confession. Stop it.
So I have to, cops get a bad rap of being just heartless souls. I will tell you that most police officers are parents.
I don't think that
either
either.
dads or moms. And there is nothing more traumatic for us to go
Right.
through than an injury, a death, or harm to a child. Nothing. And there is absolutely nothing that we want more than to bring these investigations to a successful conclusion. And when we talk about why we're here in the first place, that we believe someone murdered baby Emmanuel, who should still be in prison, but we have this unbelievable love for criminals, believing that they're somehow victims, and now we're all traumatized by it. We were all in this room a couple of years ago when I had a deputy murdered because someone was out on the street that should have been life in prison, but a judge let them go. We have an absolute breakdown of the justice system, and we are not preventing other children from being harmed when someone like Jake is allowed to be out on the streets harming children. And so the anger that I have, the frustration that I have, then combined with the misinformation and everything else, when for all of us and our employees, there is nothing more important to us than the death of a human, particularly a child.
Okay. Try to work. I'm going to work the back. Yes, sir. Well, we've got a lot of evidence. We're going to have to play that out in court. I can't lay it out here today. Okay. So yes, right next to him. I don't know if we're going to see the arrest warrant today. So that's a pretty short answer for Spanish. So yeah. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, and then I'll come back to you. I just can't say. I'm not going to give a timeline. Obviously, baby Emmanuel, we have a theory as to when his death occurred. So, and then I've also shared that we believe that when the parents came forward, it was to tell the public something that wasn't true. Going which way? Go ahead.
Don't be mean to Tira.
There's a lot of witnesses. Investigators are tracking down every lead. I'm not going to focus in on who's a relative and who isn't. There's a lot of witnesses in the case that are shedding light. Yes, ma'am. Right. So I'm not going to say, as Sheriff Bianco just mentioned, when you have members of the public that are out there doing their own searches, all it does is potentially prejudice and damage the case. So please let the sheriff's departments do their job. They know how to do this, right? We're helping with them, anything they need from us, but they are the ones driving this investigation, and they will track down every lead. I have all the confidence in both of these great sheriffs and their great departments. This investigation is ongoing, yes. Yes, ma'am.
In an effort to dispel all of that misinformation that we're seeing on social media, has a plea deal been offered to either Jake or Rebecca? Is that a possibility? And is this a death penalty case?
It's not a death penalty case. We did not, and we're not able to file special circumstances, and that's what would be required for it to be eligible for the death penalty. This is, we filed 2 counts of homicide, which in this case is murder, against both Jake and Rebecca. So not a death penalty case. What was the other?
Has a plea deal been offered
No.
to either one, and is that still a possibility?
No. No, we're not interested in a plea bargain with these individuals. We're interested in a trial and getting to justice. Yes, sir.
Where are we in terms of representation for these defendants?
I don't know. I don't know. That's not something that I have any knowledge of. Going back, yes, ma'am. I think you just answered your own question. Of course, this is an investigation. We're searching for evidence. We've got 2 great sheriff's departments doing what they do best. So if there's a chance to find baby Emmanuel's remains, these men and women of these 2 agencies will do it. Yes, sir. Estamos aquí porque estamos acusando formalmente a Jake y Rebecca Haro de homicidio y de presentar un reporte falso a la policía. Los padres del bebé de 7 meses permanecen detenidos bajo una fianza de $1 millón. Y más de eso no puedo comentar porque no puedo hablar sobre la evidencia en el caso porque eso tiene que suceder en un tribunal, en corte. No puedo comentar. No, dije que sí, estamos convencidos que el bebé fue abusado por un periodo de tiempo, o sea, tiene 7 meses, o sea, sobre su vida de 7 meses, que fue abusado sobre tiempo. Yes, sir.
Just for clarification, maybe Sheriff's Department, not Sheriff. There was a call for service that was generated by Jake that we investigated concerning a child abuse case. And that's all I can give you on that. And it was in Moreno Valley. No, not at this time. I think we've answered that already. If you are not getting information from his office or my office, you are doing our public an unbelievable disservice. We don't care what someone posts on social media. And if you all are going to believe that and then generate questions based on those comments, we're not going to get anywhere in this. If it did not come from our two agencies, stop believing it. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you, Kim. That was really sweet of you. I appreciate that. And Jen, thank you. I appreciate that.
Son responsables de la muerte de su bebé por la evidencia que ya tenemos. Y es cierto que no tenemos el cuerpo del bebé, pero tenemos bastante evidencia y nosotros estamos convencidos que fueron responsables del homicidio de su
Hey, Duchess.
All right, going forward. Where am I? Did you have another question? Go ahead.
This is for Sheriff Cabianco. When you guys were on the 63 way in the Badlands area searching, we did notice that Jake was out there with the Sheriff's Department. Was Jake trying to cooperate at any time with the sheriff during that search?
So we've answered that question, sir. That was Sheriff Dykes that answered that question of why they were out there. He said that there was some level of cooperation with the defendants, and that's all we can say. Yep, that's all we can say. Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel, because the baby was 7 months approximately when he died, born in December 2024, do you feel that there are people that let this baby down, not only that judge who let Jake Haro down, but we're talking about 7 months of child abuse or several months of child abuse. Do you think there are other people who failed this baby possibly by not reporting what they were seeing, what they thought was happening?
Well, certainly this baby was failed by his parents. So that's first and foremost. So yes, beyond that, I can't comment. But yes, everybody failed this baby that was close to him. Yes. Yeah. So I can't comment on the evidence in this case, but what I can tell you is that modern homicide investigations are very tech heavy. And we have two very modern, cutting edge sheriff's departments in Riverside County and in San Bernardino County. And so, yes, what you mentioned
Thank you,
was the
Dainty.
high-tech crimes unit of the San Bernardino DA's office, their Bureau of Investigation. They assisted. And beyond that, I can't say what they found. That can't get into the evidence. But yeah, this case is going to be built on, like almost all homicide cases now, electronic, digital evidence. It all comes into play. Go ahead.
Did the family ever seek medical attention for baby Emmanuel since he was born to the day he was missing?
I can't comment on that. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. What's next is, first and foremost, the investigation will continue, and it's led by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, and then also Riverside County Sheriff's Department assisting, and then the prosecution will begin. We filed the case. The case will begin to work its way through the criminal justice system here in Riverside County. Other folks, yes, we're coming to the end here, I think. Go ahead. Not at this time. No, we're not looking at anybody else. We believe that this is the filings in court that will be in this case. Now that could change if new evidence comes in. Yes, sir. I'm not aware of a house fire next door. So, yes, sir.
What? What? He said he's not aware of a house fire next
I'm
door.
not going to comment. Sorry, I can't talk about that. Anything else?
Technically, it was across the street, but still.
Sí. Sí. Podría cambiar si encontramos más evidencia y la situación cambia, los cargos pueden cambiar. Anything else? I think we're closing up here. Anybody have any last questions? Yes, go ahead. Do you know when? September 4th. The court day will be September 4th. All right. Thank you all for coming.
Okay. We're going to go back to the beginning. Oh, what the crap? Okay. We're going to go back to the beginning so we can hear the very beginning because there was like audio issues with the news. Real quick. Okay. So at the beginning, Curious Christine has been a member for 6 months and said happy for 6 months. Thank you for being a member for 6 months. I greatly appreciate that. That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that milestone with us. Curious Christine sent a super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Edith has been a member for 8 months. Thank you for sharing that milestone with us. That is amazing. I really appreciate you and thank you for that. Miss Scorpio Rising sent a super sticker. Thank you so much for that. That was very sweet and I really appreciate that. UTV Vols sent a super sticker. Thank you so much for that. That was very sweet and supportive of you and I really appreciate that. Thank you. Kim sent a super sticker. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. That was very sweet of you. Thank you so much. And then Jen F sent a super sticker. Thank you so very much for that. That was very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate it. And Dainty Dane gifted a membership, and it went to Chase D. Thank you so much, Dainty Dane. Welcome, Chase D, to Speculation Station. I will grab the crazy train to pick you up. Okay, I'm going to talk normal now. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you everybody for being here with us today. I was trying to stream this from the news station that was local to the area because I knew they were going to have it. And evidently their mic wasn't working in the very beginning. So I'm going to go to what they said first real quick before they started taking questions so we can get all of it. And then we'll talk about the alleged confession. He confessed. I mean, I don't know. The damn man said that he didn't even know about a fire. And he said next door. Technically, it wasn't next door. It was across the street. I don't know if he's trying to be play semantics, but there was a fire across the street, and he said that there was no confession. If it came from TikTok or Facebook or something like that, I would believe what he said, but it's coming from the news, from News Nation, from a former DA of Riverside County. So, I'm believing the confession. I don't know if he told the truth, but I believe the confession happened. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So we're back at the beginning, just so it's in the live. Okay.
I'm going to do a couple of things today. First thing I want to do is introduce the individuals that are here on stage with me.
Well,
First
we
off,
don't have to see that.
to my far left, we have Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco.
Right.
We have San Bernardino County Sheriff Sergeant Nicholas Clark. We have San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon
That's
Dykes.
true, Lori.
We have Assistant District Attorney Brandon Smith, and then myself. So someone who's not here, I want to thank as well, or introduce as well, Jason Anderson,
Hey,
San Bernardino County District Attorney. I want to start by thanking these gentlemen up here. I want to thank the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office for their professionalism, their cooperation, and the great work that they do here so far. I want to thank Jason Anderson, the San Bernardino DA's office. His Bureau of Investigation has recently formed a high-tech crimes unit. They were instrumental in helping us with this investigation. Let me tell you how things are going to go today. There's going to be several individuals that make statements up here, and then when we're all done with the short statements, I will come back up and we will have a question and answer. I will take questions. I will take all of your questions till there are no more questions. Having said that, there's a lot that we can't say, that I can't say, that nobody up here can say. And the reason is that the defendants in this case have been charged with crimes, serious crimes. And so now they have a presumption of innocence that applies to them. They're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I'm not allowed to prove my case in the court of public opinion. And so there's a lot that we can't say in terms of the facts.
Yeah, we're going
and
to
the
talk about
evidence.
all that.
For that, you will have to come to the court, to the various hearings and see how the case plays out. However, having said that, it's appropriate to have a press conference because it was the defendants in this case that had a press conference first. And they did so in order to tell the public, the media, and ultimately law enforcement that their child had been kidnapped, when in fact that's not what occurred. And so we're here to clear up some misconceptions and to explain how this case unfolded in terms of the investigation. It involves two counties working very well together.
Allie.
I know everybody
Allie.
up here on this stage, we work well together normally, but in this case, I'm very proud of the work that was done by Riverside County Sheriff, San Bernardino County Sheriff, my office, and also the District Attorney's Office in San Bernardino County. All right, so we'll go ahead and kick this off. I'm going to bring up first San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes.
I don't know. We saw this part.
Thank you, Mike.
Sarah, her name is.
To Mike's point, I want to thank all of you in the media for covering this, specifically the parents' initial statements to the public while we were trying to find Emmanuel. They became critical as we continued through this investigation. But I want to talk about a little bit about the process because we've seen a number of questions related to Amber Alerts and things like that. So I hope when I finish this that everybody understand kind of the course of the investigation. But the investigation started for us on August 14th. When Emmanuel Haro reported that her son had been kidnapped. Folks, within 24 hours through video surveillance, we found inconsistencies in Rebecca's statement. And as a result of that, there was no other vehicle to put out on an Amber Alert or anything. And I know many of you were wondering why that didn't occur. But really, after finding out those inconsistencies in the statement on the initial report, that's where hundreds of hours of investigations have come in by our Specialized Investigations Division to try to get to the bottom of what's really going on here. And when I say hundreds of hours, I'm talking about forensic data on vehicles, phones, and potential crime scenes, judicial authorized search warrants that were served. And through that process, that's where we learned that the jurisdiction of where this has occurred was in Riverside County. So hence the Riverside County DA and Riverside County Sheriff's Department, which I can't stress enough. We've had a long-term partnership. We work well together and we know how to get things done in these environments. But that's why the jurisdiction had changed from the original jurisdiction that was reported in, which is Yucaipa, California. But as we went through that portion of the investigation and realized that these things that had happened in Riverside County, you saw the culmination of all the different entities get involved. And going back to what Mike mentioned.
I wanted to pause it real quick because somebody had asked if it was a different county because of they wanted to make sure it was a different DA. So the answer to that is going to be no, that it kind of crossed into different counties through the progression of the investigation, through evidence and all of that.
About the DA's office in San Bernardino County and high-tech crimes. Forensically, there are a number of things that we were able to prove up that we're not going to be able to share today exactly how we did that, but there is a tremendous amount of evidence that suggests that the initial story posed was not the correct story. So in that partnership with our agencies, I'm going to introduce my partner, Chad Bianco, where this crossover occurred at Riverside, and we reached out to Mike, who's obviously filing the case, and of course, Chad, to assist us in the investigation. Chad?
Thank you. Like Sheriff Dykes, I just want to thank all of you for, especially the normal mainstream media, for your attention to this and for your cooperation in this as we were assisting San Bernardino in this investigation, trying to.
He said normal mainstream media. Blue Jay, they're saying that Jake hasn't confessed maybe to them specifically, but he did allegedly confess to an inmate. Okay, and that man also said there was no fire across the street, which, or he said there was no fire next door, which technically is true. It was across the street, but to present it as if there was no fire is misleading, and I don't like it. So I don't know if obviously they're going to be tight-lipped to protect the investigation. I don't really know what they're saying, but there's a DA that speaks about his confession, and the news is reporting it. So I think it's true. In this case specifically, a lot of what was said on TikTok and Facebook turned out to be legitimate or true. Now, I don't usually mess with TikTok or Facebook, but I had to with this case because that was how we got a lot of information, though I always presented it as alleged until we found out it was true through the news. This is a different kind of case involving different kind of tactics, I suppose.
Originally find a missing baby, but then eventually quickly learning that that investigation was not something that it started as. Not so much for social media and keyboard warriors who quite honestly sometimes hamper and prevent us from a good investigation. I do want to expand a little bit about our relationship with San Bernardino. A lot from the media, a lot of questions have been raised about jurisdiction. And what Sheriff Dykes and I routinely talk about to our own communities isn't really necessarily displayed in the media or said to the media, but neither one of us care about jurisdiction. Our belief is that the Inland Empire is better served when we are cooperating and working together. And in this investigation from the very beginning, it was obvious that it could involve both counties. When something like that happens, particularly in this case, the original investigation began with Sheriff Dykes, and if he chooses to take it to the end, he will, which obviously he did. And my position is Sheriff Dykes is responsible for this and the assistance of my department. So there is no asking us, there is no anything like that. It is, we have to serve our public best, and he has every single available resource that the Riverside County Sheriff's Office has to offer to make sure that we provide justice in this case. This is an extensive investigation with both agencies that ultimately is headed by the supervisor of the Detective Bureau from the Sheriff's Office in San Bernardino. But the cooperation, as you can see, between the both counties is what is going to bring this to a successful conclusion.
So Sarah Lee said, I'm just flabbergasted on why they even had to make that statement and then say keyboard warriors. It just seems so unprofessional. I think somebody heard on the Tira asking questions in there, which I do believe that he would be there. I think that they're frustrated because on the Tierra specifically and other people were able to get information that maybe should not have been shared with the public because they were out there talking to people and finding information. And this case kind of blew up and got really popular really quick. And a lot of people went out there and were on the scene. And then also take into consideration, you know, people offering tours of the house, people getting in fights outside of the house. So I think they're frustrated that a lot of information that maybe should have been kept confidential was out here on TikTok and Facebook and Front Street when they would have rather kept it a little bit more private. I don't think they're happy about the Perkins operation either, that we're going to talk about in just a second. There is a lot. Everybody's repeating Jada. What did you say, Jada? Hey, Ange. While we are all angry with Jake's attorney getting him a slap on the wrist, what do people think will happen if others continue to walk into the crime scene handling potential evidence? And again, that backs up what I was just saying. You know what I mean? Not a talk. Not all that. Not all that. Sorry. Thank you for being here. No, I'm not a pro burger, but I haven't talked about Brian for a while. Thank you for the subscription. Squirrel brain. I forgot what I was saying. Go back up here to Ange. Oh, yeah, that backs up what I was just saying about why I think they're so upset with the public, and especially on the Tierra specifically, because, you know, everything that's happened in this case, they haven't been, yeah, evidence became tainted and all of that. Crime scene has been compromised. Exactly. Lolo said a lot of people are concerned that on the Tierra is going to screw up this case. Well, you know, to be fair, I mean, he's doing what's allowed by the public. Now, do I agree with all of it? Absolutely not. The person offering tours and going onto the crime scene should be arrested. But on the Tierra, from what I've seen, is doing what's allowed by the public. So, I mean, it's within his constitutional rights to do what he did, whether it pisses them off or not. Now, again, the one who went into the house and the crime scene specifically should be arrested because that's not legal. But they should have had crime scene tape up. Was there crime scene tape up? I mean, you know, so there's a lot going on, and they've got a lot on their plate.
Is absolutely nothing, no crime more important than the injury of a human being, particularly a child. And the amount of resources that were expended to find this baby and to ultimately bring the people to justice responsible for the loss of this baby, I can't even tell you the amount of resources that were expended in this. It is a massive investigation that will obviously be ongoing, and we appreciate your efforts. This involves a lot of things, though, from us, and
that's true.
Hopefully there are more questions to be answered, but I'll end it by saying this before we get into more questions specifically about this case. This was preventable in numerous ways. The amount of response we have had from the public, the enormous anger that child was not only originally thought to be kidnapped, but then presumably murdered, kind of warms my heart a little bit.
Hey, Karen.
That there is compassion still out there. There is care about other people. There is, people actually do care about other people. There is absolutely nothing worse than harming a baby. Broken bones, injuries, life-altering trauma. And had that case been successfully handled how it should have been, Emmanuel would still be with us today. So I think.
And I'm glad to hear them say that. I really am. What they said was that a judge came in from a different jurisdiction and made a ruling, and they do that. I actually, I was in one county, right? And a judge came in from a different county that I had seen before for a different case. And they called me and he looked at my paperwork. He said, I know you. He said, I told you to get your life together and stop doing this stuff, and I didn't want to see you again. And here you are in this county. So they do travel around and fill in and stuff, and that's what they said happened. But wherever whatever county that judge came from that gave Jake this slap on the wrist for all that needs to be fired. But it's not that easy. I think judges are, I'm not sure. I think they're like elected. I could be wrong, so don't run with that. But I think they're like put there and like you have to basically go through a whole bunch of steps, basically like firing a politician. Basil, stop, baby.
Thank you all for taking the time and the effort to make sure that the world sees this investigation, and we will successfully bring it to conclusion with the help of both DA's offices.
Thank you, Sheriff. I neglected to mention that Sergeant Nicholas Clark is the lead investigator on this case. So even though he's San Bernardino County, he will be functioning as the lead investigator on this case, which is ongoing. The investigation is ongoing, even though we have filed charges. And then Brandon Smith is going to be the lead prosecutor on the case, obviously Riverside County prosecutor. And with that, obviously you all know.
I'm so sorry, Dennis.
Yesterday in court, we filed murder charges on both Jake and Rebecca Haro. We also filed filing of a false police report. And with that, I will take questions. I know you're going to have a lot of questions. I do want to lay some ground rules.
So this is where we were at before. Okay, so I appreciate the update. Like I said just a second ago, I mean, we can get upset with the media being out there and stuff, but the case kind of blew up. And as long as they're doing what's in their constitutional rights, you can't do anything but be frustrated with them. Talking about, you know, the mainstream media, we're happy with them and them putting out what we said. That's all great and dandy, but it's also the mainstream media who are putting out information about the alleged confession that Jake made that you just touted was not true and complete bullshit and acting like it came from TikTok, and it didn't. So let's jump over there real quick and talk about that. Before I do that, I did want to let you know there was a shooting we can talk about later if you haven't heard about it, up in Minneapolis at a Catholic school this morning, and this is the gunman. Robin Westman, 23, was named as the shooter who committed the homicide of 2 children at Annunciation Catholic School's church on Wednesday. That was breaking right when we came live. If y'all want to talk about that, we can talk about it later. But anybody who was following that case, I just wanted to let you know. Okay. I think I put it in here. I do have timestamps because, like I said, they struck me when I got 22,000 views on the other live stream. So we're going to go over here to Brian Inton.
Episode I have exclusive. Hey guys, thanks so much for checking.
So, I mean, he works for News Nation. I've heard a few of you say that KTLA is reporting on this, and so... Lord have mercy, y'all stop it. Y'all stop it. Okay. So I mean, he's from News Nation, and the person he talked to about the confession was a former district attorney, I think, for Riverside County. So, you know, I got a big issue with you saying that, you know, it's all bullshit. It's not like it's a TikTok video, you know. I am going to present this as alleged because I wasn't there. I didn't see. I don't know if it's true. But considering that the news is reporting on it and what the DA is going to say and some of these timestamps that I have, I think it's true. Now, whether Jake was telling the truth is another issue. But we're going to go ahead and talk about it.
Out of California, baby Emmanuel's father, sources tell me, Jake Haro, told a fake inmate in the jail that he killed baby Emmanuel and put the baby in a trash can in his house. Let me repeat that again. Sources say that Jake Haro told a fake inmate in the jail that he killed baby Emmanuel and put the baby in a trash can in his house. You might be wondering how police got this information. This is part of what I'm told is called a Perkins operation. A Perkins operation, which is when police use a fake inmate to try to get information out of someone who has been arrested and who is inside the jail.
So I could definitely see them doing that. I did just drop his link, and I will put it in the description box after the live. Oh yeah, thank you, Duchess, for saying thank you. I just looked at my phone and saw you said that. I do believe that they did that because if we go back to him walking across the field and pointing out all these different random places and the police not finding anything, taking this field trip out of the cell while he was in shackles, I think that they could have gotten very frustrated and sent somebody in there undercover. Evidently, Riverside County is kind of known for doing things like that as well. I'm just surprised that he talked about it and so soon.
Perkins operation came after, I'm told,
Oh,
Jake
thank
Haro
you,
confessed to
Duchess.
police that he rolled over in bed and killed the baby by accident and then buried the baby. So that is what Jake Haro told police, which is why he took police to that spot out along the freeway. This video that we have that shows him out there searching. That story, I'm told police believe, was all made up.
So, real quick, Duchess has been a member for 8 months. Thank you for sharing that milestone with us. And Duchess said, appreciate all you do. I appreciate all you do. Let me grab your link because Duchess is amazing. And I'm going to share that real quick for y'all. If you have not subscribed to her, please do so. She's so pretty. I just saw her on a thumbnail. She's so pretty. Okay. Um, Thank you, Duchess, for sharing that. So, allegedly, the reason they were in the field again is because he told police he accidentally rolled over on the baby. He took the baby out to the field, wanted to bury the baby close to home so he could go and basically pay his respects, mourn his baby, all of the things, making it, in my opinion, allegedly seem less violent than it probably was. I don't think for a second that he rolled over on the baby by accident. I don't. And again, when people say that, it's hard for me to believe because I'm going to tell y'all, you can call me a bad parent, but I slept with all my babies in the bed. I was feeding them, and, I breastfed my babies when they were small, and so I would lay in the bed with them, and I never, it happens, it does, but it's just I don't know, I don't get it because I don't know, I guess I'm different. Um, I don't know, I don't think for a second going back to him that he accidentally rolled over on the baby when we take into consideration Carolina Rose, later renamed Promise. I think that he hurt the baby physically, and evidently, we're going to learn more about that because if what he told the inmate is true, I think he did all of these things to hide what he actually did. Tammy, thank you for being here. How the F do you throw an infant in your house trash after you commit the homicide of your infant? Well, again, I think it's to hide what he actually did. I personally think that allegedly Emmanuel was hurt for a long time. I think that baby suffered quite a few traumas in his short life, and it's really sad to think about, especially like they were saying in the press conference, considering that it could have all been prevented. Duchess said Hari should have been in prison. Poor choices by the judge, in my opinion. I absolutely agree. He should have been in prison. He should have. Can't believe him at all. Can't believe her. What a crazy story. Justice for Emmanuel, right, Shirley? Took I took street classes and I really get into cases and was really close to taking forensics, but I didn't. So when a lot of this stuff happened, I'm already pretty much versed on the law. That's awesome, Ashley. You should go and finish that. It's never too late. Okay.
First, they got that story. Then they decided to do the Perkins operation, I'm told, which is when they used the fake inmate and when they say they got the information that Jake Haro actually killed baby Emmanuel and put baby Emmanuel into a trash can. Meanwhile, baby Emmanuel's mother,
Absolutely.
I'm told, is still sticking to the same story. They also did a Perkins operation with her in jail, and she is standing by her
Yep.
story
Yeah.
that baby Emmanuel was kidnapped. That is also, you'll remember what she told a reporter who she talked to in jail. So many tragic twists and turns in this case. My big concern right now is that if this story is true, that police allegedly found out about through this Perkins operation, that he killed baby Emmanuel and put him into a trash can, and that it may have been up to 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. Will they ever actually find baby Emmanuel?
Now, if it was up to 3 weeks ago, okay, you got to think about the baby being in the trash can and then taken somewhere up to 3 weeks ago. They don't know which landfill it went to. I'm sure there was quite a few in California. And then, searching down 3 weeks back, not knowing what landfill it went to, I don't know that he'll ever be found. It reminds me of the Megan Boswell case as far as putting the baby in the trash can because her little girl was found in a trash can in her playhouse on her dad's property, or family property at the very least. And then Quentin Simon. Quentin Simon, I don't think had been placed in the trash can very long at all when he went to the landfill, and they only found part of his little skull with the Leilani Simon case. So it's concerning. I do think personally that they're going to have to try this case without Emmanuel's body because I don't think it'll ever be located, which is again very sad. That child needs to be laid to rest. My thoughts and prayers are with them if they do go look, and I hope that they do find him. If this is true, and it sounds like the DA is ready to try them both to the fullest extent of the law. So I hope that they pay with their lives for what they did, especially Jake twice, but the mothers too. How do you convince two women to let you hurt their babies? I absolutely not. Okay, we're going to go to timestamp 233.
Kim, I want to start with this new reporting that we have that Jake confessed to police that he rolled over the baby.
Oh, thank you, Victoria.
Killed the baby and then buried the baby. But apparently that story was not true, right?
Yes, that is correct. My inside sources are telling me that was absolutely a lie. He made that all up to the police in order to, I guess, garner some type of sympathy, garner some type of a linear charge or sentence, but he made up this entire fabricated story that he was asleep with the baby Emmanuel, that he rolled over onto baby Emmanuel. When he woke up, he realized the baby was dead and he panicked. And so he went out to the Gilman Springs area that we saw him with the police the other day, and he buried the body because he wanted to have the opportunity to go back and mourn his son's death and visit him. That was his story. That's why he was out there in his chains and his shackles, allegedly trying to lead the police to the body that was never there.
Now, I've heard that before. Other people who have committed the homicide of their children usually go with that burst. I rolled over on the baby. It was an accident. I didn't mean to, because they don't want to admit what actually happened. And I don't understand why parents are becoming so frustrated with their children, with their infants and toddlers, that they're committing homicides. I'll never get that. Lorianne said they are not seeking the death penalty. No, they are not, from what I understand. But if he's in prison for the rest of his life, he will eventually pay with his life. Now, I wish that he would be looking at the death penalty because of, when you take into consideration what happened to Carolina Rose, later renamed Promise, and Emmanuel, there is a pattern of abuse with the children and the women, allegedly. And I think that he needs to be put to death for that. That's just my opinion. But I don't think they have the death penalty in California. If they do, no, they're not seeking it. And yes, the first story, he rolled over on the baby, buried the baby so he can mourn him, was complete bullshit.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
That's what the cops said when they went out there. Bullshit. And that's why they sent in this the Perkins person to get this alleged confession. Lolo, it's a good question. Even the people that I've heard, the times that I've heard an accidentally rolling over on an infant and an infant dying that way. Now, let me just say, I by no means have went searching through Google to find every single case, okay? But the ones that I've heard, it's because the parents maybe were having a barbecue and drinking, and they were a bit intoxicated, and then they lay down with the baby, and then something happens. usually involves intoxication on the parents' part, which in any case is still accidental and very sad when I've heard about it actually happening. Is there an exception to that? I'm pretty positive there is, but I don't know. I never, I always knew where my baby was. I don't know. I kind of, when they were little, I didn't sleep very deep. You know what I mean? Maybe some people sleeping very deeply wouldn't realize the baby was there, but I don't know. All I can do is speak from my experience, and I always, had the baby kind of cradled in my arms when I slept, and I didn't sleep very deep. I woke up every time the baby moved. Ashley said, I would, but I'm almost 40 and I don't know if my heart could take it. I'm still curious enough, though, to try and sort through things and give ideas, but after my children, I couldn't. Well, if you do, I'll support you to the best of my ability with positive thoughts. And either way, you are doing amazing. Always remember that. If it says an accident, they would have called 911. If it was, yeah, I think so. I've heard of overtired parents rolling over on newborns, but not an 8-month-old. Right, Lane? Yeah.
It
Okay.
was just part of
And
the story.
the reason that we know that this is allegedly made up is because of this reporting that we have that he spoke to someone who he thought was an inmate in the jail, but it was actually what is known as, is it a Perkins operation? So it's actually a police officer who he admitted to actually killing the baby. First of all, can you explain what a Perkins operation is?
Sure. We don't know if the person who was undercover was a police officer, if it's another, run-of-the-mill citizen of the community that was acting as an undercover inmate. We just know there was another body in the jail cell pretending to be an inmate in the same inmate clothes as Jake Haro, shackled in the same manner in which Jake Haro is. And they begin to ask questions while being recorded to Jake specifically about the charges and why he's in there, in hopes that he will admit whatever really happened to baby Emmanuel to these fake inmates in custody. And it's called a Perkins operation. These types of investigative tools have been going on for decades in agencies and district attorneys' offices across California. It's a very standard and typical investigative tool that you see the sheriff's department use in many different cities and counties across California.
Is it controversial at all doing that?
Yeah, it's been very controversial. I think.
So it is controversial. I'm wondering if they would have an issue bringing that to court. I think it is accepted in court, and she's going to go on to talk about it. I'm going to let this one play because there's not like 1,000 people in here, so hopefully they won't strike me, and we're just going to talk about it. I'm going to let it play through, and we'll talk about the whole thing. I think it could be controversial in court, but she talks about how it's been used in court, especially in this area. Super Daddy, nice to meet you. Good to see you. Said, we all know what happened, and him saying he rolled over Emmanuel is like saying the dog ate my homework. We all know he's a vile child of Satan and a seasoned con artist, workers' comp, fraud, and welfare, etc. Right? I agree with you. So yeah, evidently it was recorded. Yeah, the person who, she's going to talk about it more, the person who went in there was allegedly wearing a camera, and allegedly there's cameras in the jail cells. I mean, we've seen, speaking of Brian Koberger, as Not All That was talking about this morning, we've seen the video of Brian Koberger in jail. They have cameras there. So I think that they've got it recorded, what he said, especially if they're, debating on using it. Now, it does kind of make me a little curious as to why the DA said that it didn't happen, but it could be something they don't want out in the public yet. Again, if I'm thinking about them talking about people searching, well, now this is out in the public. So if people go trying to search the landfill and they found the baby before the police had a chance to get out there, it could be an issue. So maybe that's why he's saying it didn't happen. I think it happened. But then if I think about a landfill, I mean, I would think you'd have to get approved. Maybe only the police could go out there and search. So I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think. Tanya said, amen. Thank you, Jesus. Lane said, it's likely accepted in court if there's a name for the operation. I agree. Hey, Sky. Okay.
Orange County District Attorney's Office was at the center of a lot of the controversy a few years ago. From that came a much tighter rein on how these are conducted. You know, the Riverside District Attorney's Office, from my understanding and my experience, has gone to great lengths along with the Sheriff's Department to make sure that they are following and articulating the legal analysis and following the law as they conduct these operations. It's very specific, and in my experience, they follow the law in using this tool as an investigative means to get a confession out of many defendants over the years.
So yeah, I see that y'all are asking about Abellis. I did message her the day before yesterday, and I was going to send her an email yesterday. I have been concerned about Abellis as well. There was some things going on behind the scenes that we discussed, so I've got to get with her and make sure that she's doing all right and all of that. I will email her tonight. I actually have an email that I had started, but then the goats got loose last night. I was late taking the geese up. Dinner was later than normal, so I got behind and forgot about it until you guys just reminded me, like happens sometimes. So I will definitely attempt to reach out to her today. I know Hannah talks to her quite often, and Hannah said, yes, Abellis is fixing her bathroom. And I remember her saying that. Thank you, Hannah. I know Hannah talks to her almost daily. Tom said, so it's either the Ola guy who did it or he rolled over on the baby while sleeping. Good luck with these stories in court. Don't you know it? Yeah, go ahead, babe. Lisa said prayers for Abellis. Hope she's okay. She did say she was redoing her bathroom, which I think is awesome.
So this was a fake inmate who he told reportedly that that he killed baby Emmanuel and then put baby Emmanuel into a trash can. I'm just thinking about waste management and all the trash cans and the landfill. I mean, it sounds like this could be very difficult in terms of finding his remains.
Yes, that's the sad part of all of this. That is correct. He did confess to these, we will call them fake inmates, that he did kill baby Emmanuel and that he threw him in the trash can at his home. Approximately.
So I'm going to back that up because this woman is a former DA of Riverside County, and she is saying he did confess to an inmate that he did these things. I don't think that they're going to be running with this on the news if it's an allegation. Now, again, there's no way to know whether what he said is true or not. Only he knows that answer. But what the inmate talking to him in this whole Perkins operation is, I'm going to believe that it's true because, I mean, you know, this is the news. This is the mainstream news. It's not a TikTok video. I backed it up a little bit.
That's the sad part of all of this. That is correct. He did confess to these, we will call them fake inmates, that he did kill baby Emmanuel and that he threw him in the trash can at his home approximately a week before Rebecca Haro even stated that the baby was missing. So baby Emmanuel's been missing for quite some time. And as a result, Waste Management, from my understanding, has told the Sheriff's Department it would be nearly impossible to determine which Waste Management truck took the trash, which bin it was in, and which landfill this particular trash can would have gone to, making it almost impossible that we will ever find baby Emmanuel's body.
That's awful to think about.
It really is.
Terrible.
It really is.
So this Perkins operation with the fake inmate happened. Did that happen after, I'm assuming, the after he lied to lied and said that he buried the body?
Yes.
Okay. So that was really just a wild goose chase out there.
It was 100% a wild goose chase, from my understanding.
Well, that's got to be frustrating for law enforcement.
It absolutely is. Yeah, I'll share it real quick. So this child has been missing for at least 29 years, or no, since 1987. UTD Bowles just sent me this. Her name is Marlena Danielle Childress. She's missing from Union City, Tennessee, and she went missing April 16th, 1987. As long as I don't forget, I will add it to my missing children's video in the beginning. And thank you, Dainty, for that other information you sent me on Drummond. I do have a couple of updates on Drummond I want to go over if we have time today.
Oh, for sure. And it goes to show you Jake Haro's mental status, right? The level that he will go to not only kill an infant, but the great lengths he will go to cover it up and create this fabricated lie. Such a fabricated lie that he allowed investigators to participate in something that's not ordinarily done, which is basically taking a field trip out to a fake crime scene. I mean, he created all of that in his mind, knowing it was.
Yeah, he created all of that in his mind, knowing it was all bullshit. He wasted everybody's time. I mean, you saw there was like 20, 30 people out there to go search. He wasted everybody's time, did not care in the least that it was all bullshit. Took them out on a field trip, which is usually not done. And I mean, just lied about it. And talking about what Super Daddy said, quote, the only old, that's a quote. I'm reading his comment. The only oil eye guy was Jake Haro. In fact, I guarantee she got the black eyes the day Emmanuel died from the son of Satan husband. It all lines up with Costco and how old the black eyes were. Again, yeah, I agree. I think that she did get the black eyes on the day that Emmanuel died. And then you have to ask, well, why? What happened? Was it because she said, oh my God, we got to call the police. We got to do something. We got to let them know. And then he socked her twice in the eye. And was like, no, you sit down and you shut up. He seems like a narcissist. I mean, I don't understand. He must have a talk game that's on point to convince the police to take him out to this field. And he's doing that knowing it's all bullshit. Also convinced 2 other women to let him harm their children. Like, what, does this guy have magical powers or something? The D can't be that good. I'm sorry. Absolutely not. Ain't no damn way in hell. I don't care. I don't care if it was made of gold. You're not hurting my child. I don't. This Jake Haro person is a character. I don't understand how he's able to manipulate even the police to the extent of going on a wild goose chase in a field. I don't know. She's allegedly under his control, allegedly still sticking to the story, but to what extent? Again, there's no fucking way in hell, excuse my language, that I'm going to let you hurt my child and then going to jail still hollering that, my baby was kidnapped. I need to be looking. Like, my God. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will.
A lie, knowing it was fake, and lived out the entire lie for the next 24 hours with law enforcement.
And again, I mean, even thinking about it, it's hard to understand, right? Because we're logical people trying to understand an illogical situation. So I don't know that it'll ever make sense. Yeah, she could be brainwashed, Lorianne, but to what extent? Again, there is no damn way in hell. Y'all, even look, like I was groomed from the age of 13. He got me addicted to substances as a control mechanism, okay? And like, he hurt me, never hurt my child. But even being groomed from the age of 13 and on substances, if he'd have ever laid a hand on my child, I would have left a lot sooner. Like, it just, like, to what extent I'll never understand it. But again, I'm a logical person trying to understand an illogical situation, I suppose. Some do, but like, absolutely not. I'll never understand it. There's wood out everywhere.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, and
I'm just the level that you're dealing with.
I'm thinking back to his story. He said that he was mourning his son, so he buried him. Like, how does that make any sense?
Right. He claims that from what I understand, he buried the body close to his home so that he could go back and visit, almost like a gravesite, because he never planned on telling anybody the baby was dead.
But that was all made up.
Yes.
Okay. And then we've also reported that Rebecca Haro, that there was.
I'm going to back that up a little bit, but it would make him more humane to me if he had buried the baby out there and the baby had been found in the field. It would have made him more humane to me. Like, I buried the baby so I could hear, and here's the baby. I put him here so I could mourn his death. But he didn't. He threw him away like yesterday's leftovers, and he's in the landfill, never to be laid to rest properly. I don't understand it. Just like with Madeline Soto, when I thought that he had laid Madeline out there in the fetal position and went back out there, I thought that some kind of accident had happened, and Stephen Stearns was out there mourning Madeline, going out there every night crying over what he had done. The relationship was still disgusting and it never should have happened, but it made him a little bit more humane to me. And then I find out that no, she wasn't laid in the fetal position talking about Madeline. She was laid in the prone position, which is basically her face in the dirt. And then we got the interview from the ex-girlfriend talking about what he liked and the only time he was fully at attention, and it just made him all the more disgusting. Going back to this case, if baby Emmanuel had been in that field, I would have had the slightest bit of compassion for Jake and maybe thought that maybe this time it actually was an accident, but then to find out he threw them away like leftovers on a child's plate. I can't. It's, Mm-mm. Right, Ange?
But that was all made up.
Yes.
Okay. And then we've also reported that Rebecca Haro, that there was also a Perkins operation with her. So a fake female prisoner, and that she has been sticking to her original story, which is similar to what she said to the reporter for the newspaper who got through to her, that, you know, that there was this essentially this kidnapping and that they don't know what happened. It's kind of interesting that that she's sticking to the original story, and it sounds like he's, you know, not.
So, Ching 25, thank you for coming in. Good to see you. It's confirmed he's in a landfill. No, well, let me put it like this. They did a Perkins interview, okay? And they sent an inmate in, and allegedly to the inmate on camera, Jake Haro said that he threw baby Emmanuel in the trash, and that's after he had baby Emmanuel died probably at his hands. And it happened up to 3 weeks before Rebecca reported him missing. They say a week, but it could have been as far as 3 weeks before. Now, personally, I wasn't the person who did the Perkins interview. I haven't talked to Jake Haro while he's been in jail, and he did not say this to my face. So I can't say definitively it's true. What I can say is I believe that the Perkins interview specifically is true because this is a former DA talking about it. What Jake said, nobody knows if that's true except for him. But allegedly, he's in a landfill. If he's in a landfill, then they might not ever find him, because that would be, you would have to trace down each garbage can, where the garbage can went to what landfill for a week to possibly up to 3-4 weeks beforehand, and figure out where that was at, where it would be in the landfill, and all of that. And think about trash companies taking crap, like probably, I don't even know, 6-7 dump trucks full of trash to a landfill every single day for up to a month. You'll never find it. Never find him, not it, baby Emmanuel, if he is there.
Right, that's my understanding. She is sticking to this story that somebody stole her baby and she wants him to be brought home.
What do you make of that she's still sticking to the story?
I don't know. I was not there to watch the Perkins operation or to watch any of her interviews, but my best guess would be there's probably something mentally off with Rebecca Haro. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future months we see some type of mental health diversion paperwork being filed on her, domestic violence assertions that Jake inflicted upon her. I don't think we're done with hearing the backstory behind Rebecca. I don't. I think there's more to come.
Do you think she's trying to cover for him?
I'm not sure at this point if it's trying to cover for him or if it's a cycle of abuse where she's afraid. I don't know if there's maybe some cognitive lower intelligence that she's, just repeating what she's been told. But like I said, again, I don't think we're done hearing the backstory to Rebecca. I think there's more there.
I think that she was definitely abused. And he does have some type of hold on her for her to back him up and lie to police, even to this extent. If he indeed did hurt the baby, which I personally think he did, and kill the baby, cover up the death and all of that, he does have some type of control over her, a substantial amount. I hope she realizes that, she's going to be left holding the bag, as they say in the end, if she don't start talking. I hope that that cycle of abuse is broken. But I can tell you from being in jail, unfortunately, when I used to live a very different lifestyle, that those girls in there, when she comes in with them black eyes, they're going to talk to her. They're going to try to support her and try to break that chain and let her know that no man should be putting their hands on her. If I had to, I mean, that's what I've seen happen personally, and I hope that they do. Lane said they found many bodies in landfills. They have specific routes and pickup times. It's not impossible, and I hope that they do find him. I really do. He needs to be laid to rest. Kim said there's a channel that says he found a police report where Rebecca got in trouble over a fake baby or something in 2009 and is now wondering if Emmanuel is real. Kim, I'm glad you brought that up. I got sent information on that, and we're actually going to talk about that after we talk about this fake confession. Now, I was sent the information, and thank you. I'm not going to say who sent it. You can say if you want to. I was sent the information. I can't confirm if it's real or not, but I'm going to present it to you so you have the information, and I'm going to continue to say it is an allegation. I haven't seen a picture personally of the girl who did this vlog, and I don't know if there is a picture of the girl who did this vlog, okay? But we are going to talk about it. Yeah, I have it. The person, okay, Little Bit of Lisa sent me a bunch of stuff on it last night, and so we're going to talk about it. Kelly said, Kate, that's a good idea. What did Kate say? Maybe Jake should be made to spend his days looking through the landfill until he finds Emmanuel. That would be a good idea, actually. Matthew said no man should put their hands on any woman or child, but that does not excuse her not protecting her child. I agree with you 100% on that. Ange said, I pray that I'm wrong, but I think that there was a more sadistic way the baby's body was, quote, removed from this earth. Considering what happened to Carolina, later renamed Promise. I mean, and even that case, like, okay, considering what he did to her and the extent of her injuries, and he goes to jail, I mean, he goes to court and gets a slap on the wrist. Like, that makes me wonder exactly how bad was it for Emmanuel? Because if you, excuse my language, but if you fucked that little 10-week baby girl up that damn bad and got away with it, like, if he did it again to Emmanuel, why wouldn't he call the police and then, think that he's going to get away with it again? So how bad was Emmanuel hurt? I don't know. I don't know that we'll ever know again. Yeah, make sure, again, that you do your own research and verify what you see. Thank you for that. I have a background checker service thingy, and I couldn't find her at all. Really? That's interesting.
With these Perkins operations, since you have been a part of many before in your past, do they record them, or how do they work? Like, how do they go down? How do they find the people? I'm sort of fascinated by it. I'd never heard of it before. How do they?
So we're going to talk about that. I did want to let y'all know, I forgot to tell you, like, when we started this live stream and y'all didn't have any audio, my headphones were dead, and I was trying to scramble to get my headphones hooked up. So I thought that there was audio because I didn't have any headphones. But my headphones are dying right now, so I'm going to try to switch them out real quick. Y'all will have to excuse me for a minute, but they're going to talk about what a Perkins operation is and how it works.
They find the people to do this? Do they record them? Like, kind of walk me through the whole process.
And when you say I've been part of them, I don't actually go to the jail and watch them. There's a DA designated for that. That's his sole job. And it's in order, again, to protect the privacy and to make sure that the standard legal procedures are being followed. So there is one deputy district attorney designated to that unit, which is a great thing that the Riverside DA's office has done to preserve the integrity of this type of investigation. So what happens is that particular assigned DA goes to the jail, watches the entire interaction go on between the inmates, the fake inmates, the actual defendant, and the actual detectives. It's being recorded the entire time. There's cameras in the jail cell. There's cameras on the, what we're calling fake inmates. And it's all above board. Everybody can listen to it later on, watch it, see it. There's nothing hidden once it's done. It's turned over to defense, and it's routinely used as evidence in jury trials, the recordings from these operations.
I didn't know that. I was concerned when I heard about this Perkins operation. I was concerned about it being admissible in court, kind of like a lie detector test is not admissible in court because, you know, it's not a controlled environment. But I found it really interesting to learn that they've actually used this Perkins operation type thing many times with jury trials. That's interesting. I find it fascinating. And it's good to know that it wasn't done in vain. You know, they often administer lie detector tests to see if somebody's lying and they know to continue going down that avenue or not. However, it's not admissible in court. So if somebody fails a lie detector test, they have to find the evidence to back up the claim that they lied, right? They have to take the lie detector test and use the information they got to go down an avenue, pursue the evidence, and present it in court in a way that you're not presenting the lie detector test. But this is different. So I was concerned about the Perkins operation that, okay, now you're going to have to go down a road and find Emmanuel's body in a landfill to prove that it actually happened. Well, that's not the case. Evidently, because it's recorded and all of that, it can be used in jury trials, which again, I find really fascinating. The Fabio Centinelli trial used it to convict Monica. Really? Interesting. So, Anders, they sent in a fake inmate. Now, whether it was an undercover officer or like what they call, quote unquote, a jailhouse snitch or somebody just from the community, we don't know. What we do know is they got somebody, they put cameras on them where Jake couldn't tell that there was a camera on them, I'm assuming, and there's cameras in the jail cell, and they sent that person in to talk to Jake, and Jake allegedly confessed. Right. Grave Adventures of Nurse Jenny. That's what the press conference said. We did go over that at the beginning of the live. They said that he did not confess. Now, I have an issue with that because in that press conference, they also said there was no house fire. And we know for a fact there was a house fire. If this was presented by TikTok, Facebook, X, I wouldn't believe it. I might talk about it and tell you that that's what word on the street is, but this is being presented by KTLA from what somebody said in chat. This is Brian Enton from News Nation. The woman on your screen is a former DA that's talking about it. So I think that they might have said that to try to protect the integrity of the case, also to keep people from trying to go to the landfill and search, things like that. I believe that it did happen because it's being presented by news agencies. Whether Jake was telling the truth or not, nobody knows but him. Matthew said Perkins is admissible, but some juries don't let it hold much sway. Juries prefer a Perkins from an undercover rather than a CI. Can be lower IQ. Okay. Okay. Anders said, I heard a DA today who said it was pretty common these people were convicted without a body. Yeah, I don't know that. I think it's going to have to be like that, unfortunately, because I don't know that they'll be able to find his body.
It's kind of interesting that Jake Haro wasn't suspicious that maybe that was what was happening when he was talking to this other person.
It's kind of interesting that this seems to happen all the time. The inmates really don't become suspicious. They just verbal vomit everything to these inmates. I don't know if it's, to garner some type of strategy in custody to be part of, the violent members so that they're not attacked. I don't know.
I find it interesting that they verbal vomit to inmates as well. When you go to jail, you know to keep your mouth shut. Blue Giraffes, thank you for pointing that out. Blue Giraffe said there was a confession, just not a formal confession maybe. And yes, that's the other part of it that I was thinking when he said that, because I myself questioned it as well. And what I'm thinking is also that now that you've reminded me of that, and again, I appreciate it, they might mean again that like when they interrogated him formally at the police station, he didn't confess. That could be what they mean as well. Like, no, we didn't interview him in an interrogation room and he confessed that way. They might not be, considering the Perkins operation. In some pictures, baby Emmanuel's eyes look normal, and at some point it looks like a line mark or scar appear above his eyes. Then in later photos, his eye appeared to drift. Am I mistaken? Abellis was actually the one that pointed out the scar above his left eye for the first time. Now, we've looked at photos going back, and I can pull them up again. There does appear to be a decline, but the one pupil on the right is really big. Not the pupil necessarily, but the iris is big, and it appears to have like I don't know, it's kind of curvy. It's not exactly round. And I see it personally from the very beginning, but I could be wrong. It's kind of hard to tell. You have to look at where that one eye is focusing to tell, but regardless of whether that was present at birth or not, if you look at pictures side by side, I can see a decline over time. And maybe I wouldn't think that much of it if it wasn't for Carolina, later renamed Promise, and that whole situation.
It's a preservation reason why they disclose, but it's shocking to me the amount of times there's disclosures and admissions made to other inmates in this setting.
Especially when it comes to killing a baby.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, because I mean, in the past when I've done stories, if you like hurt a child or you're a sex offender, I mean, it doesn't seem like the other inmates normally take to that.
Right. It's shocking he would admit that because.
Yeah, because in jail, they don't play with that. There's parents in jail. They don't. It is shocking to me, too, that he admitted that, because they don't play that in jail. Like, you will get, like, beat up on the spot. Julie, I hope you have a good day, love. Matthew said, do not be surprised when they amend these charges. Once the DA gets their crap together, they will or should stack more charges. I think they will. Oh, my God, Kelly, that's so true. Sad but true. In the words of Metallica, they broke his spirit, then took his life. Sad but true. I'm going to back this up so we can get the whole context of their conversation real quick. Sorry about that.
And there's cameras in the jail cell. There's cameras on what we're calling fake inmates. And it's all above board. Everybody can listen to it later on, watch it, see it. There's nothing hidden once it's done. It's turned over to defense, and it's routinely used as evidence in jury trials, the recordings from these operations.
It's kind of interesting that Jake Haro wasn't suspicious that maybe that was what was happening when he was talking to this other person.
It's kind of interesting that this seems to happen all the time. The inmates really don't become suspicious. They just verbal vomit everything to these inmates. I don't know if it's, to garner some type of strategy in custody to be part of, the violent members so that they're not attacked. I don't know if it's a preservation reason why they disclose, but it's shocking to me the amount of times there's disclosures and admissions made to other inmates in this setting.
Especially when it comes to killing a baby.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, because I mean, in the past when I've done stories, if you like hurt a child or you're a sex offender, I mean, it doesn't seem like the other inmates normally take to that.
Right. It's shocking he would admit that because you would think that would not bode well for him in custody at all.
So let's talk about these charges that we now know about: murder, domestic.
Before we talk about the charges, Kate asked, Kelly, real quick. I said, yes, I said Metallica said that, but I was referring to their song Sad But True. I love Metallica, so I just thought about that. I apologize if it was confusing. Kate asked, I wonder what happened to the greasy, slimy lawyer he had. And then Cara said he bounced yesterday. Apparently, he asked to be dismissed as his lawyer. I think what happened was he wanted the publicity he was going to get off of this case for representing Jake in this case. I think he wanted the publicity that would come from it. I think he wanted to try to get him off again. And then, therefore, if somebody committed a crime and they wanted to get off, they would contact that lawyer specifically. Think about Casey Anthony's lawyer or OJ Simpson's lawyer. You know, they get them off of these big cases, and then they're very popular as a criminal defense attorney. But I think that once he did the interview with News Nation, and he saw how, you know, they were like, no, and like not falling for his bullshit. I think he realized that it was not the type of publicity that he necessarily wanted, and maybe he wasn't as good as he thought he was. So he rolled out. Evidently, from what's being said from the hearing yesterday, they have public defenders. I think honestly that's exactly what happened. He wasn't getting the publicity he necessarily wanted, so he rolled out. Evidently lame. Yes, the Black Album. Shaken baby causes brain damage, seizures, damages his optical nerves, equals blindness. The baby was truly suffering. He was. It's really sad.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah,
okay. We're going to talk about the charges next.
I mean, in the past when I've done stories, if you like hurt a child or you're a sex offender, I mean, it doesn't seem like the other inmates normally take to that.
Hey, Anita.
Right. It's shocking he would admit that because you would think that would not bode well for him in custody at all.
So Anita said, in this picture of Emmanuel, one of his eyes looks blackened while the other one looks normal. He does have a little bit of darkness above that eyelid right there, and we noticed it in the other picture. Now, I can't say definitively that he has a black eye. I can say that it appears that way a little bit, but it could be a skin tone, because if you look at his ear, that area is about the same color as his ear, so I don't know definitively. The other eyelid does appear to be lighter in color, and then if you look above his eyebrow on that side, let me go to the picture. If you look at his eyebrow right here, it does appear to be some kind of scar or something. I'm not sure. This one showcases his eye, though. It looks a lot bigger than the other one to me. It looks like there's something there on this side, but I could be seeing something that's not necessarily abnormal. I don't know. But yeah, it does appear that this eyelid is darker than this one. To me. Right, I know. Yeah, that's what I see, Southern Cats. That pupil looks misshapen, and I think he was born that way. Now, he does appear to decline, unfortunately, over time, but I'm not, positive on that, as I'm not a medical doctor. Oh, I'm sorry, Hannah. Yeah, okay. Linda said, I think he was blind in both eyes. The picture in the car, you can see he has that eye injury. Yeah. My neighbor had that one. He fractured his orbital bone. Really? I hope that baby's orbital bones were not fractured. Looks like there's a reflection in that eye when you zoom it. There probably is. I mean, I can see the light from the phone or whatever it is that's taking it. I can see from here. It looks like there's a square phone right there from somebody taking a picture.
So let's talk about these charges that we now know about: murder, domestic violence, and making serious false complaints. Is that what you expected?
It is. I'm a little bit shocked they didn't file a
Hey.
special circumstance on this case. You know, there's a litany of different ones they could have. But again, they're in the beginning stages of investigating the case. I think this isn't the final complaint that will be filed against Jake Haro.
I don't think it will be either. It is what it is. Good to see you. You said you just got out of the principal's office after that news conference. Were you there? Am I not understanding? Let me know. Dainty said his eyeballs don't look normal either, but it could be the angle, camera, or Jake's abuse. Exactly. It could be a number of things. No, thank you, baby. Y'all go ahead and eat that pizza. Cara said, I think he was legally blind. Could he have been born blind, or did he go blind from abuse? That's hard to say since they never took him to the doctor. Exactly, Cara. Exactly. Kim, if you would like to share a screenshot, email me. Let me write it in chat. Hold on just a minute. All right, there is my email. Matthew, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Matthew said, as always, thank you for the content. Wonderful forum. Thank you, chat and mods. May true justice come for this child and all others. Thank you, Matthew. And I'm with you on that. I hope that all the children get justice as they deserve it. No, thank you, baby. Shut that door, though, because y'all need to hear what I'm talking about. Y'all eat it. Thank you. They keep trying to bring me pizza. It is what it is, said. No, the way they treated us like children who were doing something wrong by forging to help share information. So you were there? Yeah, they were fussing at somebody. It appeared to be on the Twitter or something. I don't know. Yes, thank you so very much for the support. That was very sweet of you, Matthew. Okay, Kim, go ahead. Yeah, I'll pull it up.
At some point, there probably will be an amended complaint with certainly a special circumstance added to it. What we know based on the complaint that was filed, it looks like first-degree murder was charged with Jake Haro. That 1109 that they're putting everybody on notice about, it reads like domestic violence, but what that really is putting everybody on notice about his prior child abuse that he did with Jane Doe, the 10-week-old baby, that they intend on using that information in future litigation, in preliminary hearings, in jury trials, that information, the district attorney's office is seeking to admit along with the evidence of baby Emmanuel.
Yeah, and I'm going to get back to the 1109 in a second because that part stood out to me. But when you say you're surprised they didn't file, I think you said special circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
So there's certain code sections in the penal code that after you file a murder, you can also file what's called a special circumstance. A special circumstance elevates the sentencing scheme from 25 years to life on a first-degree murder, and then it takes you in the range of either life without the possibility of parole or you're eligible for the death penalty. And we saw, Riverside County, even though there's a moratorium in California, Mike Hestron has been very clear that if the facts warrant and it's so heinous, he still files the death penalty in a lot of these cases. So in order to get to that type of charge, you would have to have a special circumstance attached to the murder charge, which is not in this case.
So I'm wondering if they are going to file a special circumstance, considering that he violated probation and Carolina Rose, later renamed Promises Injuries. I'm wondering if they're going to file a special circumstance in this case and he's going to get the death penalty. I wasn't aware that they had that in California, and I appreciate those of you who let me know. The DA seems to be willing to go after him pretty hard this time. So if they can, I think they will, honestly. Hobby said, domestic violence is no excuse for a mother to allow a child to be abused. My opinion, mothers protect their children at all costs. You know what? Exactly.
Boom, 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 bam.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Exactly. There's absolutely no way. Like I've been in a couple of domestic violence situations, but one specifically, and he never hurt my child because I would have killed him in his sleep. But that just furthers what you're just saying. No, it's no excuse. It's no excuse. I gotta I'll say it's not an excuse for anybody to put their hands on anybody, but I got a mouth. I do. I'm very snarky, and when I'm pissed off, I go for the throat. I say things that hurt people's opinions. Especially, I'll go for, I'll say things that cut deep. So I get it. I mean, not necessarily I get it. Nobody should put their hands on anybody, but not my child. Nope. I'd kill you in your sleep. I would.
And back to the 1109, you talk about section 1109, and this was in the charging documents. It says, pursuant to section 1109 of the evidence code, evidence of the defendant's commission of other acts of domestic violence may be admissible at a trial in a criminal action in which the defendants are accused of an offense involving domestic violence. The people hereby give notice of the people's intent to admit evidence of prior acts of domestic violence pursuant to evidence code 1109. So you said it, but I just want to make sure I understand. So basically, are they saying we plan to bring in these other cases, like the case we've talked about of the other child who was badly hurt?
It sure seems that way. 1109, if you go on and read it further under section 3,
Right.
it talks about prior abuse on dependent children. And so my guess is that's exactly what they're alluding to in this complaint.
So back to Jake Haro and his different stories that he has allegedly told. And then you've got Rebecca still standing by the fact that she says there was this kidnapping. Is it possible that he killed baby Emmanuel and she doesn't know?
Is it?
I don't think so. So Hobby Farmer a minute ago asked, why is Rebecca charged with first degree and he is not? I think he's still charged with homicide with malice. What I'm thinking is they changed the charges after the Perkins interview or something. Somehow they know who actually committed the homicide. And I think that's why the charges are different. The one who committed the homicide is going to have the worst charge because at the beginning, they were both charged with homicide with malice. Okay. Now, again, like I said, I think in yesterday's live, they didn't both hold baby Emmanuel and commit the homicide at the same time. One of them did it. The other one covered. So I think there are going to be different charges because one's going to reflect that that person did it and the other one's going to reflect that basically the other one assisted and stood by, didn't really say anything. Right. Yeah, I have a very smart mouth. He said 1109 is nothing compared to what he should have been charged with. And I appreciate you bringing that code up. I wanted to look that up. We're supposed to look at the phone calls too, and I kept forgetting. Okay, thank you. I'm going to grab it. Okay, thank you, Scratch. I'll grab that one too. It's not possible that she didn't know. Right, exactly. Killing a child should definitely be a death penalty case, but Callie wouldn't carry the sentence out. I agree. Tactical Bite, good to see you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Newsom put some memorandum in effect in California not permitting any new death penalty sentences? Well, let's see real quick. I don't know if I'm asking the question correctly. Well, it says, as of now, no one in California can be sentenced to death. The state has a moratorium on executions, which was put in place by Governor Gavin Newsom in 2019. And Los Angeles County prosecutors will no longer seek the death penalty as of December of 2020. The last execution in California occurred in 2006. And there are currently no active death sentences being pursued. So yes, you are absolutely right. And thank you for asking that question. Yeah. Matthew said 1109 is simply notifying the court they plan to use prior offenses and evidence. Yes, thank you for that. I think that it was said that. Let's double check. I mean, just to be sure while we're here. I want to say, I'll try code, but it might not bring up the right thing. California Evidence Code Section 1109 addresses the admissibility of evidence regarding a defendant's prior acts of domestic violence, abuse of an elder or dependent person, and child abuse in criminal proceedings. So yes, you are absolutely right, and thank you again for that. All right, we'll go back over here.
Is it possible? I guess, but is it reasonable and likely? I don't think so. They were living together in the same home.
Just to recap, he asked, is it possible that Rebecca did not know that Jake committed the homicide of Emmanuel Haro?
You know, she presumably lived in the same house where she sees the photographs being taken down of baby Emmanuel, all the clothing being gone, the baby's not there. I mean, it begs the question, why didn't you call sooner? If you weren't part of the cover-up, if you weren't part of the murder,
right,
if you weren't part of aiding and abetting, why in the world as a mother did you not call the very first day Emmanuel was no longer in your home? It just doesn't make sense.
And why make this elaborate story that somebody said, hola, punched you in the eye, and then you fell on the ground? Again, she's lying even about that. We can tell the black eye did not occur that day. If you really didn't know about it, why come up with all these elaborate bullshit stories? She absolutely knew, and she absolutely is covering for him. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Anita said, are you talking about a good old-fashioned blanket party? We need to do that. We need to do that. We could handle it. Like, we just let us go in there. We could take care of it for you.
So no, I think that she had to have known something nefarious went down.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Exactly.
Last time we spoke about how there was no body, and prosecuting a no body murder case can sometimes be tricky. Based on what we now know about this, I guess you could almost call it a jailhouse confession to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
How much more solid is the case now? And are those Perkins operations always admissible at trial?
They're typically, yes, always admissible as long as the district attorney can point to the fact that they followed the legal requirements, which, again, Riverside has been, in my experience, the lead on this in California. I don't have any reason to believe that they didn't conduct this operation in the exact legal manner in which they always have. So in that case, if the Perkins operation comes into trial, I think that makes it such a stronger case. It doesn't matter that it's been a no-body homicide. It doesn't really matter for evidence purposes that Emmanuel's body hasn't been found or won't be found. I think that the admission in and of itself is solid, and that's enough.
And just back to the timeline, I'm still a little confused, and maybe you can help explain this. If he said to the fake story to police that he buried the body, killed the baby a week ago, but then allegedly told the fake inmate that he killed the baby 3 weeks ago and threw him in the trash.
Yep.
What do you think? I mean, what do you think we should make of the timeline? Do you think he's telling the truth to either of them?
Jenny Jen, real quick, said Rebecca had many chances to tell the truth once she was separated from Jake, in my opinion. Yes, she did. Yeah, we need to put locks, soaps, or the good old mop bringer. Absolutely, we do. Is this Law and Crime? No, this is Brian, Entin. I don't know how to say that. I don't think Rebecca wanted to save anyone, herself included. I agree.
As far as the specifics of the timeline, I don't know if he's telling the truth. I think based on the first information we have from the neighbors saying when they discovered, or when Jake came over and asked if they could use the trash can and give and they put the clothing and the baby's bedding in the neighbor's trash can. From my understanding from inside sources, that was about 3 weeks ago. And in the Perkins operation, from my understanding, Jake Haro alluded to the fact that the baby had been missing even the week prior to that. So that
I'm going to back that up so we can hear that again, because that is pretty much definitive. I mean, again, and they talk about a confession. I think they mean he didn't confess in an interrogation, because this woman was a former DA in Riverside County or somewhere close by, and she is saying exactly what they said. Allegedly in the Perkins operation, they said, as information we had gotten before from the neighbors, evidently these dumbasses went and asked the neighbors could they use their trash cans to throw away baby Emmanuel's photos, clothes, blankets, everything. So they're asking the neighbor, can they do that at some point about 3 weeks ago? And that happens. And evidently, baby Emmanuel had been missing for at least a week before that, or deceased for at least a week before that. Okay, so that's how far you'd have to go back if he is in the landfill and search. And I mean, again, think about Quentin Simon, how far back. It wasn't anywhere near that long because they had Leilani Simon on camera throwing baby Quentin into the dumpster. And they still only recovered a piece of his skull after searching for, God, I think it was 4 or 6 weeks. Tom, Jake confessed in a Perkins interview, which is basically where they put an inmate with a camera or an undercover cop and present him as an inmate. They sent him into the jail. Jake said that Emmanuel died. He put him in the trash can, and that's what happened. So that's what we're talking about right now. Well, Danny, what the police, so we talked about it before. This is being presented by news. From what I heard in the chat, allegedly KTLA is saying it. This is from a reporter from News Nation, and the woman that is on your screen right now talking about the Perkins operation, who has inside sources, was a former DA. Now, what I think they could have been saying in the police conference is, no, Jake didn't confess in an interrogation room with the police officers in like the police station. Okay, they're also not going to say, well, he told an inmate that he put the baby in the trash can in an undercover operation that we were running. Like, they're also not going to put that out. And they also could want it, like, people not to go to the landfill and try to search for him. I believe that this Perkins operation happened because the news is reporting on it. And this is not a TikTok video. This is not a Facebook post. This is not an X post. This is the actual news. This is a district attorney talking about it. I believe that this actually happened. Now, if Jake was telling the truth, nobody knows but him. And I backed this up, so I think I did. So we're going to listen to what she just said again.
Story to police that he buried the body, killed the baby a week ago, but then allegedly told the fake inmate that he killed the baby 3 weeks ago and threw him in the trash.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
What do you think? I mean, what do you think we should make of the timeline? Do you think he's telling the truth to either of them?
As far as the specifics of the timeline, I don't know if he's telling the truth. I think where she sees the photographs being taken down of baby Emmanuel, all the clothing being gone, the baby's not there. I mean, it begs the question, why didn't you call sooner? If you weren't part of the cover-up, if you weren't part of the murder.
Lord have mercy. I apologize. I don't know how long I had been muted, but you're welcome. And I took it back a little bit so you could hear what they said. Again, they're asking if Rebecca could have possibly not been aware that baby Emmanuel was deceased. And it doesn't make sense because she made up the whole elaborate story. We know her black eye is older than that. She didn't see somebody kidnap the baby, even though that's what she's saying. And the DA is saying that she saw them take down the pictures, throw away the clothes, all of the things. So she definitely knew that baby Emmanuel was deceased. But I took it back so you could hear her talk about the Perkins operation, which she's about to talk about.
Part of aiding and abetting. Why in the world, as a mother, did you not call the very first day Emmanuel was no longer in your home? It just doesn't make sense.
Hold on.
So no, I think that she had to have known something nefarious went down.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
that would
good
make
now.
sense. Last time we spoke about how there was no body, and prosecuting a no body murder case can
Thank you.
sometimes be tricky. Based on what we now know about this, I guess you could almost call it a jailhouse confession to a certain extent.
Mhm.
How much more solid is the case now? And are those Perkins operations always admissible at trial?
They're typically, yes, always admissible as long as the district attorney can point to the fact that they followed the legal requirements, which again, Riverside has been, in my experience, the lead on this in California. I don't have any reason to believe that they didn't conduct this operation in the exact legal manner in which they always have.
So it's interesting to hear that Riverside, the county that is prosecuting this case, has been the lead on Perkins operations in the whole entire state of California. That's another reason I think that this is true. This Perkins operation actually happened because out of the whole state of California, Riverside County, the county that they're being prosecuted in, is known for doing Perkins operations. I think it legitimately happened. And I think that in the presser, they don't necessarily want the information out right now, though this case kind of blew up pretty quickly. So I think there's a lot of information they didn't necessarily want to be out in this case specifically.
So in that case, if the Perkins operation comes into trial, I think that makes it such a stronger case. It doesn't matter that it's been a no body homicide. It doesn't really matter for evidence purposes that Emmanuel's body hasn't been found or won't be found. I think that the admission in and of itself is solid, and that's enough.
And just back to the timeline, I'm still a little confused, and maybe you can help explain this. If he said to the fake story to police that he buried the body, killed the baby a week ago, but then allegedly told the fake inmate that he killed the baby 3 weeks ago and threw him in the trash, what do you think? I mean, what do you think we should make of the timeline? Do you think he's telling the truth to either of them?
As far as the specifics of the timeline, I don't know if he's telling the truth. I think based on the first information we have from the neighbors saying when they discovered, or when Jake came over and asked if they could use the trash can and give and they put the clothing and the baby's bedding in the neighbor's trash can. From my understanding from inside sources, that was about 3 weeks ago. And in the Perkins operation, from my understanding, Jake Haro alluded to the fact that the baby had been missing even the week prior to that. So that puts us at a 4-week timeline that Emmanuel has been missing. When's the last time somebody saw Emmanuel? I don't know. I haven't heard a witness come forward and say definitively the last time they saw Emmanuel. But it seems to me, based on piecing everything together between the first story, the second story, and the neighbors, that we're pushing maybe 4 weeks, 3 weeks at least, where he's.
So 3 to 4 weeks of trash being picked up from all over, probably the entire county, going to a landfill and being thrown away. Like the odds of finding baby Emmanuel are unfortunately slim to none, in my opinion. Not impossible, but I don't think it's going to happen. And it pisses me off every time they say he threw him in the trash, because, I mean, again, that tells you Jake Haro's regard for his children. I mean, that is his own flesh and blood, a little baby. But, I mean, we go back to Carolina Rose, later renamed Promise, and it's frustrating. It is what it is. So why did they need the neighbor's trash can? He didn't weigh much like 60, 70 pounds and could have gone in a regular size trash can. Have to take these stories 50-50 at this point. Frustrating. Yeah, it's interesting to me that the neighbors coming out saying that he asked could he use our trash can to throw away baby things, and I would have found that questionable to begin with. Like, why are you asking me if you can use my trash can to throw away baby items? Like, I don't think I would have agreed to that. And why did the neighbor agree to that? Like, that's just weird to me. But allegedly, that's what happened. Drippy Thoughtsicle, good to see you, said, is this a thing that women stick to the story and men cave first and start changing theirs? same in Jack and Lily case. Daniel started changing the narrative, at least publicly, on social media. I mean, I have a thought, but I don't want to. Basically, what I think is typically a man in a household is the lead, the person in charge, the head of the family. So when a narrative is being pushed, whether it be true or not, there probably, I could see a man wanting to control that narrative more so than necessarily the woman, especially in a household where the man is the lead or the man is the head of the household, the man is in charge. That's my thought process on that. So they change their stories to fit the narrative they're trying to push, because not necessarily an egotistical kind of thing, but that's what they're used to, basically, kind of being in charge. They had said theirs was full. That's interesting. Yeah, why didn't the neighbor go through the trash? I think they're saying they just threw baby clothes and pictures of Emmanuel away in the neighbor's trash, not the actual body. But it is weird. Anita said, I would not allow anyone to throw anything in our trash can. It would make me look suspect or part of something I was not a part of in the first place. Exactly. Ever Loved Me said, I would let my neighbors use it if they asked, but baby items would be the red flag. Good point. Okay. Now I'm thinking I shouldn't let anyone use my trash can. I would be careful. If they're trying to throw away, like, if I saw pictures of the baby and stuff, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you don't want to run around thinking everybody's doing something nefarious, but, like, why do you need to use my trash can? Take it to the dump. That's what I do. I would have been nosy and checked what they threw away. I would too. Definitely would. But, we're over here on True Crime Channel, so, we're always looking at something.
It's been gone.
That's crazy to think about. I mean,
I know.
It's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the trash story is true. I mean, again, I hate to even think about a baby in the trash. It's awful, but it seems like it would make it even harder to find. Because I've done stories before actually involving babies that they were looking for, where they got
baby.
Sources that said that this happened where the baby was in the trash, and they'll actually go through and like dig the landfill. Like they'll do like a whole line of people where they actually look.
Right.
Hey, Peaches.
I think the issue here is we don't know which landfill. We don't even know which trash can. We don't know which day the trash came. And it sounds like law enforcement did reach out to Waste Management, and they just weren't able to get a definitive answer in order to do those things.
Yeah. Just seems like it gets more tragic every day,
It really does. I'm thankful that there's charges filed and that they're in custody, and hopefully both of them will have a change of heart and decide to come forward and tell all the details, all the truth.
Yeah.
For baby Emmanuel.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think so. Cara said, my security cameras have view of my trash bins, and sometimes I see people trying to dig in them. My block is wild, though. It sounds like it. That's crazy, Cara. Okay. So, real quick, I wanted to talk about 2 emails I got sent, and then we're going to talk about this alleged blog thing. This is the screenshot that hold on, let me pull it up. That I was sent. Looking at the reflection in his eye, it's very hard for me to tell because it's blurry, but I mean, it's going to be blurry anytime you zoom in like that. So, I mean, it looks like a camera to me, like a phone, because I can see like right here, the square outline of the phone, and then the light coming from the picture being taken, and then that's a reflection of the light as well. But other than that, I can't really see much. So I don't know. You guys can let me know if you see something I don't, but that's what I see in that. And then we're going to go to this. Now, I got questions about this. I hadn't seen this yet. Let me pull it up. So this person said, in this picture, Emmanuel Haro doesn't look cross-eyed at all. And it says strategic eyes showed some pictures of baby Emmanuel, and he's clearly not cross-eyed. I have questions whether that's really baby Emmanuel. I saw that picture, on another video I was watching, and I don't think that's baby Emmanuel. Honestly, I don't. I would like to know where they got that picture from. I don't. That don't look like the same baby to me, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't think that's a legitimate photo of Emmanuel Haro. I don't. I'm sorry, I just don't. Um, let me pull up. Let me see what I've got. I might have some on my thing. I hope I do. I should, but I don't know if we would looked at all of the photos on Facebook or X. Okay. I do have a couple. You go way back. Okay, that's going back into Jaden. All right, hold on. I know I left y'all hanging. Hold on just a minute. I have this one that's got like 3 photos of him. Okay, so keep this in mind. That baby right there, right? I'm going to try to go kind of click between the two, but I have to share it from my computer. That baby does not look like that baby right there at all to me. And we know that's Emmanuel. Now, these are from when he was younger, so it's hard to tell, but that picture would have been about the same age as he is in the other picture we just saw, and that don't look like the same baby to me at all. Yeah, I think that's a different baby, honestly. I think that's somebody just trying to get a bunch of clicks and views. I don't, don't look at all like the same baby to me. Now, you formulate your own opinions and make your own decisions, but like keep that baby in mind. And then look at this one. Like I don't think it's the same baby at all. And they made sure that like you couldn't see the placement of the ears. This baby has a lot more hair. We've never seen a picture of baby Emmanuel smiling. Like I've questioned whether baby Emmanuel could have had autism and not been diagnosed yet, because there's no photo of him smiling. We have like a partial smile with the one in the truck, but never really smiling. I don't think so. Okay, hold on. Oh crap. I had to delete Discord to get a dang thing, that video to upload. So let me download it again real quick. I forgot to re-download it. And then I'll check it. Hold on. I got to log in as well. Okay. So now we're going to go to the alleged bacon the baby thing. Let me see. Okay. So to talk about that, we're going to go over here. Now I'm going to put my banner up because I don't know. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it's going to be the same person or not, like the same Rebecca Buhausen. So we're going to talk about it, but I don't know if it's real or not. So this reads June 14th of 2009, blogger Becca Buhausen. I'm going to click that and see if it gives me a picture. And it doesn't. But we'll read that one as well in a minute. Came under intense scrutiny from an online community this week after they uncovered her post about being pregnant with a terminally ill baby were false. Buhausen wrote about her decision to carry the sick child to term, but she was not actually pregnant. Earlier in the week, she spoke to the Chicago Tribune, but she has refused other requests to speak with the media. She sent the following apology to ABC News, which she also posted in her personal blog. Now, the fact that she spoke to the Chicago Tribune, maybe we can get a photo. And it was June 14th, 2009. Bueshausen. Okay, I wrote it down. We're going to see what we can find. She said, Becca Bueshausen's apology to readers. I know this post will not change what has been done. I don't expect it to, but I hope it helps with some of the hurt that I've caused. I have come to know a lot about some of you in the last few months, though you share through your shared words with me, and I now want to tell you some about me. Not April's mom, not the fiction, just me. I am a 26-year-old woman who loves to draw and paint. So, allegedly 26 years old, okay, in 2009. So, we'll add that up. I worked for years in the social service, not as a licensed social worker. Never said I was, but social service field. I am Christian, and while I wrote many of my posts under false context, the God I shared with all of you and wrote about is still God, the creator of life, Father, and Savior. In my life, I've had good days, and I've also dealt with a lot of pain, including the sorrow over the loss of. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me get a sip of my coffee and try to read this correctly. Okay, in my life, I've had good days, and I've also dealt with a lot of pain, including the sorrow over the loss of life. I don't say that to garner your sympathy or to lessen your anger. I say it because it's true. When the loss was the loss present day? No, but true nonetheless. In my quote calendar past, unquote, perhaps, but still very much so in my present day to day. I lied, and I'm not trying to hide that, nor am I trying to minimize it. Worse still, I lied to a community of people whose only intention was to support me through this time, and that is wrong. And for that, I am sorrier than you can know. The number one question I have been asked in the last few days is what I would tell people online who followed my story, who are now upset to find it is not true. The simplest and most honest way that I can answer why I started lying even prior to my blog and started my blog is that I am struggling. I have been dealing with unresolved pain that weighs heavy on my heart, which I have been unable to handle alone. Like I referenced above, I am no stranger to losing a baby. I have suffered this type of loss more than once, and while the circumstances and time frames vary, spanning between my college years through just the last year, the pain is very constant. Is what I have explained above and the other pains that are unseen and only in my heart an excuse for all of this? No, absolutely not. But I will be the first to say I don't even understand all of my actions. I never imagined the magnitude of all this, the lies, the relationships formed the entire thing. I started writing and people responded. Almost overnight, I was receiving emails from people who at one point had been pregnant and unmarried or had suffered loss, or were Christian but believed in the sanctity of life in all circumstances. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced in my own life or anything I ever expected. In part, I was just so surprised by the response. It taught me that not all Christian circles are the same, and it really gave me a glimpse of something that in my eyes had been closed to. And as my relationship grew, I just continued to feed the story. Okay, so that's what she said. Now, first, before I continue reading on, let's check the date. We're going to do some Google searching real quick. I'm going to see what we can verify. And by doing it on the live stream, you'll be able to see how you could do it too. We're going to go back over here. Okay, so she said, basically, the Chicago Tribune should have some type of interview, whether it be something she wrote or possibly on camera, from around June of 2009. I'm going to try to find that, but it could be any time around that time. So if we can't find it on the live stream, I'll have to work on it after the live. 2009, she said she was 26 years old. So let's go back to the booking information and get her date of birth and see how old she would have been in 2009. So she was born in 1984. Specifically February 3rd. Okay. Now we're going to jump to Google. Let me pull it up. Okay. What the crap? $1984. Lord of mercy. So if she was born February 3rd, 1984, in June of 2009, she would have been 25, not 26. But it's okay. That's the first clue that it might not be the same person. And I'm gonna try to search. Let's see. DUESHAUSEN. Okay, so this is from the Chicago Tribune. Let me see if there's any videos real quick, and we'll go right back to that. I'm not seeing any videos on it. Okay, so let's go back over here. We'll check this one. See if there's a photo. Okay. So it says bloggers baby hoax. The unmarried. Okay. Evidently, I have to submit an email. What? Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Well, damn it. Hold on. Let me check my email and see if she sent it to me. Because she sent me quite a few. Hold on. We're going to continue looking. I'm looking for a photo. If we don't see one, I'll go back to that and we'll find out. This one says the pregnant mommy blogger whose terminally ill baby was exposed as a lie. In 2009, when mommy bloggers were having their moment, a community of online readers flocked to the heartbreaking story of baby April Rose. April's mother, known only as B, was young, single, and pregnant with a terminally ill baby. It was a baby she'd chosen to carry to term rather than terminate due to her deep Christian faith. April Rose had trisomy 13 syndrome, B said via her blog, which is a chromosomal defect that can cause severe intellectual disability and death. Baby April would likely die shortly after her birth. B named her unborn baby April Rose based on the month she was due. Her blog posts were poignant, and heartfelt, describing her inner turmoil and the added trauma caused by her family's lack of support and church who disowned her when she fell pregnant. She shared the impact of her turbulent relationship with April's father and her determination to maintain her Christianity despite it all. She shared doctor's appointments and pictures of her ultrasounds, providing regular updates on baby April's measurements, movements, and heart rate. Within months, almost 1 million readers had flocked to the site. They came from all walks of life. Some were parents of sick and dying children, others staunch Christians, others were simply drawn to the real life tragedy. Many of her followers promised to pray for her and her baby, but prayers can only do so much. And before long, B started asking for more, posting a P.O. box to which her readers could send gifts or money. She also began posting ads to her blog. As baby April's due date approached, things became weird, drawing suspicion from some readers. She chopped and changed due dates and hospital visits before announcing she planned to deliver her terminally ill baby at home rather than the hospital. Around 2 weeks after the due date, Bee declared she was in labor, providing hourly updates culminating in the baby's birth and a subsequent emergency trip to the hospital. But it was the photo of baby April that set the wheels in motion for Bee's undoing. The photo was not of a baby, but a lifelike collectible doll. Unfortunately for Bee, one of her readers made similar dolls and recognized it right away. Online sleuths eventually identified Bee as Rebecca Buhausen. The story was picked up by multiple news sites, prompting Buhausen to take down her blog and social networking sites. Buhausen told media outlets that she became addicted to the emotional support she received, adding she didn't know how to stop. Days later, Buhausen republished her blog to share a lengthy apology with her readers, claiming she had lost several babies while pregnant in the past and began writing the blog as therapy. Quote, "I lied and I'm not trying to hide that, nor am I trying to minimize it," unquote, she claimed in the post. Quote, "Worse still, I lied to a community of people whose only intention was to support me through this time, and that is wrong." I wanted to make sure I wasn't muted because sometimes that happens. Sorry about that. And for that, I'm sorrier than you could know. I have suffered this type of loss more than once to varying degrees, and while the circumstances at times may vary, the pain is very consistent, unquote, she wrote. She also confirmed her faith was genuine. Quote, "I am Christian, and while I wrote many of my posts under dishonest context, the God I share with all of you wrote about is still God, the creator of life, Father, and Savior, and I hope to regain my relationship back with him fully myself," unquote. Buhausen revealed she only received a handful of presents and she intended to donate, and her advertisements weren't live long enough to generate any money. Since she didn't profit substantially from the blog, police left it alone. But while she didn't make money from her readers, many felt emotionally scammed. Though years have passed since the scam occurred, many who followed Buhausen still worry why she really did what she did and where she is today. I wish I could see a picture. That's not it. Okay. Let me see. There's a couple she sent me. Okay, that's a YouTube video. I don't want to play it if I don't have to. Okay, so let's go to here and I'll try to search it again. I'm going to check images. I don't know if that's her or not. No, heroine of the abortion. I really want to read this Chicago Tribune one, if it'll let me. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me pay for this real quick. Oh, y'all can't even see it. Okay, hold on. I'm going to pay for this real quick. Promise Faith. Hey, the Jersey lady. I don't think it's the same lady. She talks about her college years. Did Rebecca go to college? No, but it could be a lie. We looked up the date. She said she was 26 years old in June of 2009. Rebecca would have been 25 at that time. Let me pay for the damn Chicago Tribune real quick so I can read this article and see if it'll give us a picture. Hold on just a minute. Oh, Lordy jeez. Okay. Hold on. It's doing its thing. I had to enter my card so I couldn't put it on there. Okay. I know you can't see it. I'm logging in now. It's taking a second. I just subscribed to it so we can find out because now I'm curious. All right. So, I don't know. Oh, that's okay. That's not about that. So let me read it. It says the unmarried mother's story about giving birth to a child diagnosed as terminally ill in the womb hit a major nerve on the internet. Every night for the last 2 months, thousands of abortion opponents across the nation logged on to a blog run by the suburban Chicago woman who identified herself only as B, or April's mom. People say that they prayed that God would save her pregnancy. They emailed her photos of their children dressed in pink, bought campaign t-shirts, shared tales of personal heartache and redemption, and sent letters and gifts to an Oak Lawn P.O. box in support. Oak Lawn. So anybody that has those, like, where you can look people up, see if Rebecca Buhausen ever lived in Oak Lawn. That would be one way to find out. It says, as more and more people were drawn to her compelling tale, eager advertisers were lining up, and established parenting websites that oppose abortion were promoting her blog, which included biblical quotes, anti-abortion messages, and a soundtrack of inspirational Christian pop songs. By Sunday night, when April's mom claimed to have given birth to her, quote, miracle baby, unquote, blogging that April Rose had survived a home birth only to die hours later, her website had nearly 1 million hits. There was one problem with the unfolding tragedy. None of it was true. None of the pregnancy and not the photos posted on the blog of the supposed mother and baby, April Rose, swaddled in white blankets. The baby was actually a lifelike doll, which immediately raised the suspicion of loyal blog followers. Quote, I have that exact doll in my house, unquote, said Elizabeth Russell, a doll maker from Buffalo who had been following the blog. Quote, as soon as I saw that picture, I knew it was a scam, unquote. By Monday, outraged followers on dozens of Christian parenting websites unmasked, quote, April's mom, unquote, as a hoaxer, and hundreds more vented their anger. Quote, she needs to be exposed and held accountable, unquote, Russell said. Sensing people were close to establishing her identity, quote, April's mom, unquote, on Monday raced in vain to delete her website and Twitter and Facebook accounts. But it was too late. The online community found her true identity. Becca Buhausen, 26, a social worker from Monkia. There's another one. If she really was a social worker, it's not going to be the same one, because I don't think Rebecca was ever a social worker. And I'm thinking she would have had the grown children by this time. When reached by the Tribune on Wednesday, Buhausen admitted the hoax. Quote, I know what I did was wrong, unquote. She said, quote, I've been getting hate mail. I'm sorry because people were so emotionally involved, unquote. There's no evidence that Buhausen benefited financially in any significant way or committed any crime. Still, Russell says she doesn't understand how anyone could create such a convincing tale that preyed on other women's emotions. Let me see what y'all are saying. I'm not sure what the state is. I don't think it's her either. It may not be her, but I seriously thought, no, you're good. It could be. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Quote, I've always liked writing. Okay, hold on. Buhausen said she really did lose a son shortly after birth in 2005. She started her blog in March to help deal with that loss and to express her strong anti-abortion views, she said. Quote, I've always liked writing. It was addictive to find out I had a voice that people wanted to hear, unquote, Buhausen said. Quote, soon I was getting 100,000 hits a week and it just got out of hand, unquote. She said, quote, I didn't know how to stop. One lie led to another, unquote. Well, you should have did it on 4chan and made it well aware that the story was not true. Though Buhausen said she used her real-life experiences and deeply held benefits as a bias for her fictionalized account, her devoted fans didn't read it that way. Quote, I feel emotionally exploited, unquote, said Jennifer McKinney, a Minnesota mom who runs the widely read Christian parenting blog mycharminggirls.net and nearly lost her fourth child during pregnancy. She said Buhausen sought her out to help promote her site. In retrospect, McKinney said Buhausen pursued her support, quote, more aggressively than anyone else ever has, unquote, adding that Buhausen seemed more interested in attracting viewers than in her unborn child. Quote, I have 11,000 Twitter followers and I drove most of the traffic to her blog, unquote, McKinney said. Quote, my readers were praying for her and I feel guilty about that, unquote, she said, quote, but I had to admit her stuff was beautifully written, unquote. Rachel Myers, a friend of Buhausen's from college, okay, I mean, again, there's the college. I highly doubt Rebecca ever went to college. And a little bit of Lisa, I don't want you to think that I'm like getting upset with you at all. I'm glad that you sent me this so we could dig into it. I'm just trying to figure it out and break it down, basically, to see if we can figure out if it's her or not. Cracker Jacks, thank you for being a member for 8 months, and thank you for sharing that milestone with us. That was very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate it. Cracker Jack said, justice for all our missing children. Yes, ma'am, thank you. Courage to Bloom, healing with Grandma Stacy. Hello, and nice to see you. Hey, Carol. Oak Lawn is a suburb of Chicago. Okay, so we'd have to find out if Rebecca Buhausen ever lived in Chicago, which again, this is the Chicago Tribune. Okay, so there's another clue. Okay, Rachel Myers, a friend of Buhausen's from college, heard from someone that Buhausen was going through a difficult pregnancy. Myers and her husband Ryan had a daughter who died at birth, so they did more than most to support Buhausen. Quote, when I heard she was pregnant, I called her and said if she needed anything, I was there for her, unquote, said Myers, who lives in Nashville. She said she spoke to Buhausen almost every day for the last few weeks. Myers sold T-shirts online to benefit Buhausen and PASS, P-A-S-S, a Tinley Park crisis pregnancy clinic that Buhausen asked the couple to donate to. The couple said they also sent her a few $100s. Even after learning of the hoax, Myers said she and her husband don't regret their involvement. Quote, she's someone who needed love and attention, and we gave her that, unquote, Myers said. Buhausen and her father said the stress of being exposed caused her to spend 2 nights recuperating in Palos Community Hospital in Palos Heights. Quote, I couldn't handle it anymore, unquote, she said, adding that she plans to write one final blog post, coming clean and apologizing to her fans. Her father said he didn't learn of his daughter's double life until Wednesday morning. She's a very talented young lady who hits some hot buttons, unquote, he said. Quote, she knows she made a big mistake. A beautifully written hoax. Some of Buhausen's posts still linger online at chicagotribune.com/April hoax. All right, we're going to go there. APRILHOAX. All right, let's go, just in case I lose it. Well, F you too, then. I don't think we're going to get a picture. Oh, there it is. It was that lady. Okay. There it is. That's not Rebecca. So that is the woman from her blog. And I don't think that's Rebecca. Oh my goodness. Jamie, I'm sorry. I was on a different page. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I really appreciate that. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. Those went to Leisure L.I., Kathy H., Niece Alum, Ellie Boogie, and Ethel Wings. If you were gifted from Jamie and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Jamie thank you. Thank you so much, Jamie. I will grab the crazy train and pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you. All right, so this is the lady who wrote the blog, and that lady does not look like Rebecca to me. You guys can make your own judgment on that. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Courage. And I saw somebody said thank you. Kathy H said thank you for the gifted membership. That was very sweet. So yeah, this is the vlogger, and that is not Rebecca Buhausen, in my opinion. I wish I could zoom in on it, though. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can open it over here and zoom in on it. Hold on. Just a minute. Oh. Well, dang, I might have to pull it up first. My computer's like, where do you want to go? You ain't pulled nothing up, crazy lady. Yeah, here we can zoom in on it. Okay. So I have a picture of Rebecca from Facebook. I don't think that's her, but we can look at her when she's got makeup on and all of that. I don't think that's her. Plus, Rebecca doesn't write, very pretty, very eloquently, I would say. I don't think she writes very eloquently because, remember when we're talking about Rebecca Buhausen, Emmanuel's mom.
This woman here is a dumbass.
Like, I don't see her having gone to college, been a social worker, which is concerning that someone who is a social worker would be doing something like that. But I don't see Rebecca having done that. You see similarities? Okay. I don't know if I can do a side by side. I can actually, but it'll take me a second. Okay, hold on. Let me I'll have to edit the picture and email it to myself real quick. Okay. Hold on just a minute. It's going to take me just a second. Because I have to do it on my phone. All right, I think I got that. Now let's go over here. Okay. Yeah, I just did Rebecca's photo on yesterday's thumbnail, so it's going to be in my photos. Here we go. Okay, let me try to make it like, oh, I can't make it any bigger, but we can do it bigger on screen. All right, I'm about to email it to myself. I'm almost done. Compose to myself. Done. Send. Okay. Let me refresh my mailbox. Here we go. Gotta download it so we can zoom in. Okay. Now I gotta pull it up again. Hold on. Hold on just a minute. Okay. They look like they would have been about the same age in those photos. I can make it real big. What do you guys think? Yeah, they do. Ashley, people are sticking their head doing that kind of shit. Disgusting. Loriette said different nose. Does look different. I think the chin is different too. I mean, and that's the only photo I have of Rebecca before, like, that's where she has on makeup and all of the things she would have done for, like, a vlog. Yeah, different head shape. I don't think it is. They do look similar. They do. But I don't think it's the same. It's hard to tell, though. I don't think it's the same, though. Yeah, she has a fuller face, Belinda. I agree. And it looks like on the left, this one, her cheekbones go up a little bit higher than Rebecca Buhausen or Rebecca Emmanuel's mom. It looks like her cheekbones aren't quite as high as Rebecca Buhausen, the vlogger. Maybe before her nose was broken 5 times. Maybe. Yeah, the location, it being in Chicago. If you stare at it and age, it looks a little bit like her. It does. I mean, you got to remember that this would have been, what, several years ago. Already proven. That a fatter face too older, yeah. Rebecca has a higher forehead. She does, but if she had her hair down, maybe. Same person, different font, said Peaches. Courage said, not the same, fuller face, higher cheekbones, eyebrows shorter. Yeah. I'm only finding a Rebecca Marie Haro on the background checker. Huh. Interesting. I wonder why you can't find Buhausen. Yeah, this case, anything's damn possible, right? All right, I want to. So we looked at that. Now, before we go, I want to talk about Austin Drummond, but we're gonna go ahead and see about what happened in court yesterday, even though we already know. We do have some photos and information. Actually, there's something that just came out an hour ago for us to look at talking about everything. So let's watch.
We're learning more about the Riverside couple accused of killing their 7-month-old baby.
Eyewitness News reporter Rob McMillan was at a news conference just a few minutes ago. Joins us now with the very latest about what we know. Rob.
Well, the Riverside County District Attorney just wrapped up that news conference within the past hour.
It
Not
is.
many specific details on this
Yes,
case,
ma'am.
although he did indicate that they believe that baby Emmanuel died after child abuse over a prolonged period of time. They also indicated they have a general idea of where his remains might be, but at this point, they have not been recovered.
So again, they said he died of abuse over a long period of time. I'm gonna back that up. So, and they have an idea of where his remains might be, but they haven't been recovered. Again, I think that they know. I think, oh my God, did you mean to do that? Good Lord. Gracious in the morning. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you, Lolo. That's a lot. Thank you. Goodness gracious. I can't read all of those names, but I hope he meant to do that. Thank you. Wow. Lord, sweet baby Jesus, thank you. Lord have mercy. I don't even know what to say. Thank you. Thank you so very much. I'll play both clips for that since there's 50. Oh my gosh. Thank you very much. Gracious in the morning. Thank you. Let me grab both trains to pick all the new members up. Thank you for gifting 50 memberships. Goodness gracious. Thank you. Gracious, I'm still choking. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That was so generous. Thank you. My goodness. Yeah, you get a membership and you get a membership and you get a membership. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Wow, that was amazing. Thank you. Goodness. I don't even know what to say. I'm like flabbergasted. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that so very much. Okay, back to this. They did say that baby Emmanuel died after abuse over a long period of time. So I did back that up so we could hear that again. Wow, again, thank you. I can't say thank you enough for that. That was really sweet of you. I really appreciate that.
Well, the Riverside County District Attorney just wrapped
Aw.
up that news conference within the past hour. Not many specific details on this case, although he did indicate that they believe that baby Emmanuel died after child abuse over a prolonged period of time. They also indicated they have a general idea of where his remains might be, but at this point, they have not been recovered.
So they definitively are saying that it was child abuse over a long period of time, which is absolutely heartbreaking. And yeah, it was, Jamie. And it should have never happened. Now, again, I'm agreeing with the DA that he should not have ever been out of prison after what he did to Carolina Rose, later renamed Promise. But at the same time, if he hadn't been out, baby Emmanuel would have never been born. But if he did get out on that and then he violated probation, I mean, he could have been in jail after Emmanuel was born and created, and baby Emmanuel would still be alive. If they hadn't done 16 damn continuances, he might still be here. I was pissed. I can't believe he never went to jail either, the resin. Thank you again, everybody. And Lola, thank you. But thank you, everybody, as well.
Jake and Rebecca Haro, the parents of a 7-month-old baby who's been missing for nearly 2 weeks,
now facing murder charges. Both of them making their first court appearance yesterday afternoon, shackled and handcuffed. As for baby Emmanuel Haro, now presumed dead, his body yet to be recovered. This morning, both Riverside and San Bernardino.
I wanted to see them in court. So somebody has that feed. I want to see the actual feed. I'm wondering if they have it. There she is, looking scared to death. Both eyes black, like Mark had said.
Their first court appearance yesterday afternoon.
She looked like she was about to cry, and he's just laid
shackled
back.
And handcuffed. As for
arms crossed, like the piece of shit he is. I wonder how he's got a scar on his face right there. Somebody hit him? I wonder if they looked at each other.
Baby Emmanuel Haro, now presumed dead, his body yet to be recovered. This morning, both Riverside and San Bernardino County law enforcement speaking publicly about the case for the first time.
It's appropriate to have a press conference because it was the defendants in this case that had a press conference first. And they did so in order to tell the public, the media, and ultimately law enforcement that their child had been kidnapped, when in fact that's not what occurred.
It all started the night of Thursday, August 14th, when Rebecca Haro claimed that she'd been attacked in this Big Five parking lot in Yucaipa. When she came to, she claimed her little boy had been kidnapped. The very next morning, Rebecca appearing to make a tearful plea for help.
Please, I'm begging you. Please, God, please.
Less than an hour after.
When I hear that, it seems genuine. Like, I'm wondering if that's what she said to him as he was beating her or killing the baby. I hope you feel better a little bit. Are you not feeling good? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better, love. On the Tierra got asked to step down from the case. He's pissed. Oh, wow. Really? Seemed like they went hard on him at the Pressor, if it was him. Allegedly, it was him asking questions.
After our interview at the family home, many of them then showing up at the Big Five parking lot saying they were back there trying to organize a search effort. But it wasn't long before people started to wonder whether this couple was telling the truth. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department saying Jake and Rebecca Haro were no longer cooperating with detectives. Others noting that in our first interview with the family.
So in this photo, which appears to be the same day, the 2-year-old there is wearing white. I'm going to back that up because we were trying to figure that out yesterday at the other one. But she has on pink shoes, not tennis shoes. This is at their house, though, so maybe it's later. I don't know.
That in our first interview with the family, Jake Haro was already talking about his son in the past tense.
He was a healthy baby. He was crawling. He was kicking. He was playing with his toys.
At the news.
Yeah, they always talked about him in past tense. Looking in the bush. What? I don't see him looking in the bush. Hold on.
Others noting that in our first interview with the family, Jake Haro was already talking about his son in the past tense.
He was a healthy baby. He was crawling. He was kicking. He was playing with his toys.
At the news conference today, District Attorney Mike Hestron referencing a case
Oh my
from 2
goodness.
years ago in which Jake Haro pleaded guilty to child abuse on one of his other children, but did not go to prison.
The judge.
Kate, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. That was so very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. I will tell you who those went to. Those went to Wendy A., Rosemary, Charity, Crazy Mimi, Victorine, Love Wins, Clary Gibson, DP1001, Miss Woozy, and Nene. If you were gifted from Kate, or if you were one of the 50 people who received a gift from Lala, because I was so befuddled at the moment, please tell them thank you if you are aware you were gifted. And I will grab the crazy train to pick our new members up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you, everybody, for your kindness and generosity. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Y'all are amazing. She seems a little dazed in the eyes too. Hopefully she was just tired. I hope so. All of you rock. Thank you. Christy said thank you. Poor little girl. I wonder if she was a victim too, especially considering that we know that as of Thursday of last week, they got called out for another report of child abuse involving the Haros. I really think it was the 2-year-old that they were referencing.
Decided Mr. Haro deserved an extra break and gave him probation and basically 180 days of work release, which ends up being like community service.
The district attorney calling that judge's decision outrageous. Both Jake and Rebecca Haro remain behind bars. Bail set at $1 million. Live in Riverside, Rob McMillan, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
I was just looking. We got a total of...
Riverside County District Attorney.
Hold on. We got a total of 66 memberships gifted. 65. Yeah, 66 throughout the whole live stream and a lot of super chats. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Aw. Yeah, I think it was the 2-year-old out there in Moreno Valley, the same place they were searching for the body. This one says the DA chastises the judge, which we saw in the presser, but we'll watch this one real quick and then watch a couple I had about the hearing yesterday, and then I'll go for the day.
Breaking news, prosecutors say the father of a missing 7-month-old boy should have already been in prison before he allegedly killed his infant
Miss
son.
Italy.
Thank you for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at noon. I'm Lou Parker.
And I'm Lauren Lister. Glenn Walker has the day
I'm
off.
not sure.
Law enforcement officials are sharing new details about the Inland Empire couple accused of killing their young child.
KTLA 5's Jillian Smuckler is live in Riverside with the very latest. Jillian.
Hi, Lou.
Somebody out there hollering, going off.
Lauren, yeah, the biggest development that came out of that press conference a short time ago is that law enforcement has a pretty good idea of where Emmanuel Haro's remains are. They wouldn't go into detail because they're worried it will hinder the investigation, but they say there's a good amount of evidence leading them to search a specific area. What I can tell you is a lot of questions were asked today that kind of painted a better picture of why they're narrowing down the search and why both Jake and Rebecca Haro, Emmanuel's parents, are facing the charges that they are. So take a look at this video right here. This was from the joint press conference where they discussed the case. They say there's a huge amount of evidence that Jake and Rebecca Haro faked the child's kidnapping nearly 2 weeks ago. They wouldn't elaborate on what that evidence is, but they say it proves Emmanuel was severely abused over a period of time and that both parents would have known about that abuse. They just
So if we're proving that he was abused over a long period of time and both parents would have known about the abuse, then there's no way, again, Rebecca didn't know. And for them to say that definitively makes me feel like they have more evidence on that. And I'm wondering if we're going to see them searching landfills. I believe the confession that he gave. Now, I mean, I believe he gave a confession. Whether it's true or not, I'm not real sure. But I think that they feel pretty confident. As far as them being upset about what people are saying and what's being put out on the news that they didn't say for them to put out, they should have done a presser on it more, I think, sooner if they were really concerned about that. Oh, thank you, Peaches. That was so very sweet of you. I'm glad you like it here. Courage to Bloom said, I'd like to know if Emmanuel had any signs of abuse when he went to his well baby checkups. Well, I don't think he had been to the checkups in quite a while because she said that he didn't go. He wasn't vaccinated. That's why she didn't get him out of the car at the park. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope that you healed from your surgery. I'm glad that you were gifted a membership. I hope everything's okay. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult. She said, I don't think pics of Rebecca on her mom's Facebook page look anything like her now. The blogger lady doesn't either, right? Kalisa said, why would a parent even mention he was crawling? That would be a given. In my opinion, he never crawled. Yeah, just like using the term diaper and past tense and, make sure to feed him and change him. I think those are Freudian slips. I don't think he did those things. I think that they didn't feed him or change him and all of that. Makes me upset. Especially, again, hearing that they are saying definitively he suffered abuse over a long period of time. And it's so infuriating considering Carolina Rose later renamed Promise.
Described the baby's father, Jake, as an experienced child abuser, and they say he should have gone to prison for his last child abuse case. Now, a judge granted Jake probation, which is a ruling they call outrageous and detrimental to the current case.
And it was.
When we talk about why we're here in the first place, that we believe someone murdered baby Emmanuel, who should still be in prison, but we have this unbelievable love for criminals, believing that they're somehow victims, and now we're all traumatized by it.
That judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today.
Right.
And that's a shame, and it's an outrage.
Well, technically, Emmanuel wouldn't have been born, but still, the diaper was over the top. It really was, Lolo. It is what it is. Said, wow, experienced child abuser. What a description to have of yourself. Yep. That's what he is. And when he goes to jail or prison or whatever happens, they're going to know he's an experienced child abuser. A lot of people have kids in there and they don't play that shit.
Now, sources told News Nation that Jake Haro made a chilling confession to a fake inmate posed as his cellmate. Now, those sources say Jake admitted to killing his son Emmanuel and dumping his body in a trash can at his home. Now, I did ask about those reports during that press conference, and the district attorney denied that happened, saying there's been no confession made in jail from either parent. We also asked about what
I thought he said there's been no confession made, which could mean that there's been no confession in an interrogation room. Interesting. But I think that they would say that there hasn't, just to try to protect the integrity of the case. I'm not sure.
if anything, the parents have said to investigators thus far, including what brought them to that specific area that was searched over the weekend. They said there's been some level of cooperation from the parents, but they wouldn't go into detail about what exactly was said. Now, they said there has been hundreds of hours spent going through some of that forensic data and also combing the area, but they say they cannot tell us exactly what is leading to that search area. Again, they do say they had to get the search warrants, the forensic data helped them in this investigation. But again, hours spent searching for baby Emmanuel's body, who they believe is now dead. Now, Rebecca.
Lolo, thank you for becoming a member. I don't know how you were able to give memberships without being a member. Thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate that, sweetheart. I'm going to grab the crazy train to pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you, Lolo. Thank you so much for your kindness and generosity. I really appreciate it. That was so very sweet of you. Kalisa said, I bet that DA feels pretty stupid now. He either didn't know or he was trying to keep it quiet, but it's obvious he was lying. He was about the confession. Yeah, I think he was. Absolutely.
And Jake Haro are also charged with filing a fake police report. They said, really, that's the reason they were having this press conference to begin with. They said the couple came out 2 weeks ago and they claimed their baby was kidnapped, which they found is not true. They say there's a lot of evidence that suggests otherwise. So they say they wanted to come out here, debunk some of the rumors that are circulating about the case. Obviously, it's getting a lot of attention nationwide from people near and far, just hoping that baby is found. But those charges that the parents are facing, they carry a minimum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. One more thing I do want to mention that is during that press conference, they said the death penalty is actually not on the table. So before we reported that being charged murder with malice qualifies for the death penalty, but it doesn't appear that prosecutors will be seeking that in this case. The DA says they're not offering a plea deal to either defendant. They want a trial and they want justice for the family. Of course, we'll keep you updated if there's any developments in this case. But for now,
okay. So we did look it up, and apparently, as we determined earlier in the live stream, Gavin Newsom, made it where you can't have a death penalty in California. That's not something that happens, evidently. I'm not sure. So that was the deal with that. Goodness, we got memberships left and right. Ashton Lee, thank you for becoming a member. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. And y'all got access to a lot of new videos. I just put out one of my longest membership videos. There's a membership live stream where we made soap and things. And I put out a video, a game, What's on My Desk, which is pretty, I don't know. I just thought I was trying to share some Amazon links with y'all and show y'all my microphone, and I wanted to try to make it fun. A lot of people have liked it so far. But Ashton, thank you for becoming a member. I will grab the crazy train to pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you, Ashton. I really appreciate that. Peaches, my mods know how to do it. They'll tell you. Girl, Laura, go to, actually, let me show you real quick because I'm going to go to my playlist. Type in Bag O Day. Just like that. Bag O Day crochet. I'll drop the link. She'll teach you. That's how I learned. I tried to crochet for weeks, right? I mean, for years, and I couldn't do it. Bag O Day crochet right here. She'll teach you. And right here, beginner basic blue beanie. Just start out with some of her beginner stuff. Look at that. How freaking cute. I need her to make a rabbit. I'm going to share this with you. I started with a little dress, like a pot holder dress type thing. That's what I learned with. And now I've even made my own patterns at this point. But that's where you need to go if you want to learn. I'm telling you, she's freaking amazing. All right, let me go to my playlist. We might do Drummond in this live too. Okay, so I have this one. We'll watch.
The parents of a missing baby will now be facing murder charges. It comes as the search continues for baby Emmanuel Haro.
Deputies arrested the parents after they say inconsistencies emerged over the baby's disappearance. Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan is live outside the courthouse in Riverside, where the parents appeared in court. Rob?
Well, this hearing was very short. It only lasted a couple of minutes. The arraignment postponed until next week because we're told neither parent has an attorney at this point. Both parents seated at opposite ends of the courtroom, both of them shackled and handcuffed.
Okay, so they have to get attorneys again. So there's definitive proof that his attorney is no longer his attorney and they needed public defenders. Courage asked, has the grandmother given any more interviews? And not that I'm aware of. What's wrong? Oh, okay, Native girl, you have a good day. Oh. Can we move on the Drummond? You wanna do Drummond today? Yeah, we'll do Drummond.
12 days after reporting their baby boy Emmanuel missing, saying he'd been kidnapped, Jake and Rebecca Haro now facing a Superior Court judge, charged with the murder of their little boy, also charged with filing a false police report to try to cover up the crime. Outside court today, people who followed this case since the very beginning here to show support for the 7-month-old child, who's now presumed dead.
Poor baby. I have kids of my own. Shame on him. I just feel bad for him every time I think about it.
This really hit home to me because I'm also a mother of 4. So to see that somebody could have felt unloving to a child like that, to me is very utterly disgusting.
It all started the night of Thursday, August 14th, when Rebecca Haro claimed that she'd been attacked in this Big 5 parking lot in Yucaipa. When she came to, she claimed her little boy had been kidnapped. The very next morning, Rebecca appearing to make a tearful plea for help.
Please, I'm begging you. Please, God, please.
Less than an hour after our interview at the family home, many of them then showing up at the Big 5 parking lot saying they were back there trying to organize a search effort. But it was
Okay, so here where it shows her, she does have the Nike shoes on, so it could have been, but I still don't think that balled up letter was relevant in any way. Yeah, after this video, I'll do the Austin Drummond. Evidently, he got in a fight since he's been in jail. So we'll talk about that.
Wasn't long before people started to wonder whether this couple was telling the truth. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department saying Jake and Rebecca Haro were no longer cooperating with detectives. Others noting that in our first interview with the family, Jake Haro was already talking about his son in the past tense.
He was a healthy.
So we've seen part of this. It's not exactly the same, but we've seen part of it, I think. Oh my goodness. Native girl, are you okay? I hope your mom's okay. Anita, have a good day, love. I hope your mom's okay, sweetheart. Hey, Sam.
Baby, he was crawling, he was kicking, he was playing with his toys.
A week later, both Jake and Rebecca Haro were arrested at their Cabazon home on suspicion of murder. As a memorial for the missing boy continues to grow outside the property, there's still no sign of him. Detectives organizing a search effort off the 60 freeway east of Moreno Valley 2 days ago. Jake Haro spotted at the scene, but the sheriff's department saying he offered little assistance. And they ended their search with little Emmanuel still missing.
Now, somebody just sent me that photo in an email, and I did download it. I'm glad that it showed it so I could go over it again. Now, in this photo, so where he's cross-eyed at, that eye is kind of always in that corner, right? And in this photo, he's looking that direction. So if this eye is always in that corner and he's looking that way, it does appear that he's not cross-eyed, but it's because of the way he's looking. Like, to me, I can still see that the iris of his eye is a lot bigger than that one. So to me, it still looks messed up. Plus, it's got this little squiggle here. And I think the only reason, again, he doesn't look cross-eyed in this photo is because of the direction he's looking. It's the same direction that eye is normally facing. Like, I wonder if the iris in that eye ever moved at all. Okay, so with that, we'll move on to Austin Drummond, because I do have 2 short news clips on that. And then evidently he got in a fight in jail. So first, the person who turned him in, the tipster got awarded a free chair, evidently.
Also new at 10 tonight, a local man will receive a gift due to a call that helped in the Austin Drummond manhunt. WBBJ 7 Eyewitness News reporter Jordan Hubbard has that story.
Farmers Home Furniture in North Jackson will award a recliner to Ricardo Contreras, a man whose report helped lead to the capture of Austin Drummond. He said he wasn't looking for money when he made the call. Contreras says he's grateful.
I want to tell everybody, thanks a lot. It's like I say, I really appreciate all the love that they gave it to me, and especially this gift right here.
The store showcased 14 recliners in various prices and materials for Contreras to choose from. Contreras chose a black leather recliner that he's excited to use to relax after a long day of work.
I thought that was really sweet that they gave him a recliner for turning Austin in. I thought that was a kind thing to do from the community.
Because I think he ought to be appreciated for what he did. Our community really needs more people like Mr. Contreras to take initiative and keep us safe. And we're all a community, and we appreciate him.
The store placed the order for the recliner today. In North Jackson, Jordan Hubbard, WBBJ 7 Eyewitness News.
Now, the recliner will be awarded to Contreras next Tuesday afternoon at 5 at Farmers Home Furniture on Old Hickory Boulevard. The public is invited to that event.
How do y'all get around?
Also new at 10.
I hate
Just when I thought I had.
I played that baby thing at the end. I thought it was funny. Okay. And then we had this Austin Drummond appears in court for bond hearing, and then
Austin Drummond was scheduled to appear in court on new charges. WBBJ 7 Eyewitness News reporter Ryan Brooks joins us live in studio with more details. Ryan.
Okay. And then after this, I'll show you guys evidently the jail fight that he got into, or something to that effect that somebody just sent me. I thought it was sweet Peaches McClure, thank you so much for becoming a member. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. And I will grab the crazy train to pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you guys so much for the support today. I can't express how grateful I am for that. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate that. All right.
That's right, Terry. We went into the courtroom to gather the latest details on Austin Drummond. Austin Drummond appeared in the Lake County courtroom for a bond hearing. 29th Judicial District Attorney Danny Goodman asked that Drummond's bond be revoked on previous charges of attempted murder and drug cases to prevent Drummond from getting out of jail on bond. He has not received a bond regarding the quadruple homicide. According to the video evidence, during the manhunt, Drummond was seen at a church wearing camouflage and armed, allegedly attempting to open the doors. That led to charges of attempted burglary and unlawful gun possession.
If the defendant violates a condition of release, is charged with an offense committed during the defendant's release, which we allege that he was, and we've submitted certified documents stating that, or engages in conduct which results in the obstruction of the orderly and expeditious progress of the trial or other proceedings. We submit that that statute does apply in this situation. He has been charged with 4 homicides, first-degree murder. He has been charged with aggravated kidnapping. He's been charged with possession of a weapon.
According to special.
So I think that trying to break into the church, maybe trying to seek sanctuary. I don't know. I thought it was weird too. It is what it is, so that's cool. I like they didn't announce a free chair prior to his capture. Yeah. I thought that was cool.
Of a weapon.
According to Special Agent Matt Harbor on the stand with TBI, new evidence presented in court today links Drummond's cell phone to the location of the homicides prior to the week-long manhunt here in West Tennessee.
We had several numbers that we knew that Mr. Drummond was in possession of, and that was assigned to an FBI agent and a cast member at TBI as well, and was able to determine that he was in the area of the crime scene.
Drummond's.
So that's interesting because remember, he's saying that he didn't commit the homicides. And if his phone number is the only one that's in that area at the time, then there's nobody else who could have committed the homicides. I wonder if anybody else was in the area with him at the time.
Defense attorney tells us what you can expect moving into Thursday's preliminary hearing.
It's slightly different than the preliminary hearing, which is where you're going to hear more information regarding the quadruple homicide case. Today was a preponderance of the evidence. Is there sufficient reason to revoke the bonds that he has pending now? The judge did go ahead and revoke those bonds, so he's going to remain in custody on those 2 cases.
We asked District Attorney Danny Goodman what punishment he's seeking in this case.
We do intend to seek death penalty in this case. We think that we do know what the motive is, but it's something we can't discuss yet.
The state motion revokes Drummond's $100,000 and $30,000 bonds today in court. Live in studio, Ryan Brooks, WBBJ 7 Eyewitness News.
So they did, I guess, revoke the other bonds. Interesting. Now we're going to jump over here to the alleged prison fight. Or jail fight. It wouldn't be prison. Tanya said 100%. My son's name is Aston and my daughter's name is Lee. Aw. I want some chicken of the woods, not here in SoCal. Aw. I would. If I find any more, I'll try to get it to you. See, that's why I don't think he's a CI. If he was a CI, why would they give him the death penalty? Good point. That's a good point, Cara. Well, if the preliminary hearing is indeed tomorrow, maybe we'll find out more. So this says video shows prison fight involving accused quadruple murder suspect before release. Okay, so this was before the release, and you can see he's knocking somebody out. Dang. Like that fist is making contact. It says, tip Tennessee, a newly released video shows Austin Drummond involved in an altercation in prison before his release last year. Drummond, who is now accused of committing the homicide of 4 family members in Lake County, Tennessee, spent a decade behind bars at Northwest, I want to make sure I wasn't muted, Correctional Facility Complex in Tiptonville. During that time, he received, let me pause this. During that time, he received at least 25 disciplinary infractions, allegedly joined the Vice Lord gang, and was charged with trying to kill another inmate during a fight. So now, let's see what this shows.
5 at 5. Start.
New details tonight about the attempted murder charge accused family killer Austin Drummond picked up before his release from prison last year. All thanks to video captured inside lockup. Welcome to Action News 5 at 5 this evening. I'm Joyce Peterson.
I'm Joy Redmond. Action News 5's Imani Williams live in studio with what she's learned. Imani.
Austin Drummond's bond on that attempted murder charge was revoked just yesterday. He was behind bars for a decade at the Northwest Correctional Complex in Tiptonville. Now, during that time, he received at least 25 disciplinary infractions, allegedly joined the Vice Lords gang, and was charged with trying to kill another inmate during a fight. Now, the video you're about to watch is disturbing. Now, footage obtained by Action News 5 shows a full-on brawl inside the T-Doc run.
He's holding something. He was holding what looked like a wooden stick of some sort. Hold on. Let me get back to the video. Hold on. Good gracious. No, I can't slow it down. All right.
Video you're about to watch.
Centrum Silver is clinically proven to support
really?
memory in older adults.
Excuse me.
Is disturbing. Now, footage obtained by Action.
No, I don't see it in that hand.
5 shows a full-on brawl inside the
Okay, it was because his hand was moving fast. Never mind. I'm sorry. I thought he was. Hey, ACF. Pretty big baby to roll over on without noticing. Yeah, I think you might be a little bit behind. That is his fist. I apologize. It wasn't anything else.
T-Doc run facility. Drummond is the white man you see in the video. Now, the fight happened while Drummond was serving a 13-year sentence for aggravated robbery, a crime he committed back in 2014.
Damn,
this
he's going back
fight
again.
resulted in Drummond being charged with attempted first-degree murder and possession of a weapon in a penal facility. He never answered to those charges before being released from prison. The $130,000 bond he paid when he walked out of jail was revoked by a judge yesterday afternoon. Now, as you know, Drummond was charged with murder less than a year after his release, accused of killing a family of 4 in Lake County, Tennessee last month. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in that case. Live in studio, Imani Williams, Action News 5.
That was a pretty intense prison fight. I'll try to play it again. Hold on.
To watch is disturbing. Now, footage obtained by Action News 5 shows a full-on brawl inside the T-Doc run facility. Drummond is the white man you see in the video. Now, the fight happened while Drummond was serving a 13-year sentence for aggravated robbery.
I think you did. I think I saw it. Right there, yeah. Looks like he might have had something. I wonder what that was.
Aggravated robbery, a crime he committed back in 2014. This fight resulted in Drummond being charged with attempted first-degree murder and possession of a weapon in a penal facility.
Yep, there you go. I didn't catch it the first time, but yeah, that's why he got the possession of a weapon charge in a penal facility.
He never answered to those charges before being released from prison.
Okay, and that was what the $133,000 bond was about. It says footage obtained by Action 5 News shows the brawl inside the facility, which is run by Tennessee Department of Corrections. The fight happened while Drummond was serving a 13-year sentence for aggravated robbery, a crime he committed in 2014. Despite Despite Drummond racking up new charges because of this fight, he was released from prison on a $130,000 bond after serving only 10 years. That bond was revoked during a court appearance on Monday. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in the quadruple homicide case. Interesting. I don't think that man should have ever been on the streets. Yep, exactly, Belinda. Wondering if police gave him the accidental scenario to get him to admit it. Oh, okay. I think you're behind. Okay. This is the same man that had pizza streaming service Game Station, and we live around here, and he's back here, and we got the same damn context. We want him out. Wait a minute. That had pizza streaming service Game Station, and we live around here, and he's back here, and he's got the same damn context. We want him out. Oh, Raja claims he was told people would pull him away. Okay. I don't know. I'll have to look into that case. I have to look into it. Anna said there's no way that this is the same Rebecca. She doesn't talk like this. That's obvious. I think some of y'all might be behind. It is. Dandelion. It is. It's very ridiculous. Not everybody deserves a bond at all. 5 minutes from Tiptonville prison. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he needs to stay behind bars. I think he needs a death penalty. All right, y'all. I'm going to go. I got to get ready to cook dinner. I cannot thank you guys enough for the support today and for being here. Oh, okay. Good to see you, Coco. I can't thank you guys enough for the support today and just everything. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I will be back tomorrow. We will be covering some interesting information, and I hope y'all stay safe tonight out there. I really appreciate y'all, and I love the time we get to spend together every single day. And thank you again for everything. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate it. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Nobody's told you you are enough. You are important. You are special, and you are loved. And I will see y'all tomorrow.